All right. Too many windows. All right. So, all right. So here we are. We are on Thursday. We are on the road. We're in Michigan, Ann Arbor. That means we are within an hour of Detroit, Metal City. Gauntlet League Wrestling. This is part of Gauntlet Con. I have my Gauntlet Con shirt on. I would usually have a wrestling shirt on, but in honor of Gauntlet Con, I got the Gauntlet Con shirt on. I've got a bunch of Coke Zero, so that's some caffeine. I've already had most of a pot of coffee, so we're all good. We are playing Worldwide Wrestling. We're going to be doing character building, the gimmicks and playbook building. We're going to be building the heat map, and then we're going to be playing out some wrestling things. This is part of Gauntlet Con. My name is Lowell, he, him, and I've run a little bit of Gauntlet League Wrestling. I am not a wrestling connoisseur by any stretch of the imagination, but I've run it enough and I've watched enough to have some stuff. If you don't know wrestling, don't worry about it. Just describe what you think might happen in the ring. It's all going to be good. I'm going to go through my cats and setup and all of that. And before I do that, let me ask you, how many of you have played Worldwide Wrestling before? Any of you played it? Okay, great. The one person has, super. When we get rolling into here, I'll talk a little bit about the mechanics, but I want to talk about things before we kind of get to the gimmicks. You've obviously got those 4 stats, just like other Powered by the Apocalypse games. We go and we do moves. Stuff that's done backstage, off camera from a wrestling, usually doesn't have roles. It's stuff that we do, on screen or in the wrestling ring that generates the moves, generates when we're rolling for those things. There are a couple of really important details with that. One is this idea of momentum. Momentum is a currency that you will generate throughout play. You can always spend momentum to add to a roll after you've rolled. So momentum is a boost currency that you'll get. You can also spend momentum when you're in a match to interrupt the other player. If the other player has control of the match, you can spend momentum to interrupt them. I'll come back to that when we kind of get into the wrestling bits itself, but I always want to stress that as the sort of the key element there. So let's talk about what we're doing here. So this is Gauntlet League Wrestling. We're going to be playing out a pro wrestling event. Our concept is that this is the road show for Gauntlet League Wrestling. Our wrestlers have been on the road for a while, but now here we're at a big match, a big show. And within that, we're telling stories of action melodrama. These are people who are doing work, who are playing out these stories, but they have their own desires, they have their own tensions, they have their own problems that go along with that. We're going to be focusing a lot in ring because this is a one-shot, but it doesn't mean we should necessarily ignore what's going on behind the scenes for our characters. It means that most of the time our character is going to be on camera. Unless you say, okay, I think this is off camera, I want to have a private talk with somebody or things like that. By default, we're assuming you're on camera, which means the audience watching the promotional show, watching the show at home, will be seeing what's actually happening there. Our tone is exaggerated but serious. We're not going dark. There are some playbooks that do have some severe real world issues involved with them, like the time bomb and the wasted. I haven't put those in for this because I want to kind of stick to the middle of the road. But of course, this is a game that, while it's dealing with the fantastic professional sports entertainment, it is about people living lives and trying to keep in shape so they can get to the next event, so that it can get paid, so they don't get cut from the roster. So that's sort of a important thing to keep in mind with tone. It means that we are dealing with issues of work struggles, tensions of life on the road, tensions between our characters within that. There might be hints about substance abuse, things like that. Those are all things that are on the table. With that in mind, our safety tool is really important. For example, and I'm going to say this, we use the X card. I trust everybody is familiar with the X card as a mechanic here. I think everybody is. You can do that either with a visual gesture. You can do that verbally. You can do that in the chat. Those are all options you have. The X card can be used for issues of problematic content, objectionable material, or even tone. Those are all important here because, as you know, if you've watched any wrestling at all, it skews into some really problematic territory. In this last run that we did, we had a character who wanted to make Gauntlet great again. And that was a thing that player stopped and talked with the other players about it and continued to check in. But it's those kinds of subject matters that we want to be cognizant of. And so keep in mind the X card is always there. Other tool that we have is we have lines and veils. Lines meaning stuff that we're just not going to see on screen. We're not going to deal with that. And veils being things that we're going to fade to black on. We've got a tab for that in the Character Keeper. And that has a checklist on it of some example things like alcoholism, injuries to eyes, sexual assault, all of the sort of common things that we would do there. There's also space to add some. At any point during the character creation process, feel free to do and hit the check boxes on those. Once we're kind of got our characters sort of figured out, then I'll stop and I'll go through, here's what our lines, here's what our veils are. Feel free to add anything that you need to that. And as one of my new tests to see if this mechanic works. So I want to go through, I see that a lot of people have chosen their gimmick already. So I just want to go through and confirm on those gimmicks. Alexi, Captain Nightshade, our monster, correct?
Correct, yeah.
And are you thinking face?
I am thinking face. I figured he could go either way, but I was thinking maybe his story has kind of gone through some twists and turns, and now he is a monster pirate, but he like has a monster pirate code, right? And it's I think he's like ended up on the face side of things.
Okay, awesome. I like that. And then Puckett, you're doing the hardcore, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you're going with a heel. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I saw that Alexi had picked a face. Wanted to keep it balanced.
Absolutely. And then Zach, you're going with the veteran.
Yeah, I think so.
And a face.
Yeah, I could go either way. I have this idea in my head that he he started his career as like a UAW kind of like guy, and I feel like at some point he had to turn heel and become like management. So I have this idea that he's recently kind of swung back into being a local union guy. So
awesome. Okay, I like that. And then Sean, you're going with the anti-hero.
That's right.
And a heel for that, which is often appropriate.
Yeah, it balanced out and it seems like a perfect fit.
Perfect. And then David, you are doing a technician and a heel.
Yes, I thought the way I have the character in mind, he's a bit more on the heel than the face side, but I have the spoilers, but I'm taking the versatile move, which means if he's in a face-off against a heel, face or a heel, he assumes the opposite role essentially.
Excellent. What I want to do is give you all a few minutes. You have access to those gimmick books and make those choices about the stats, about the moves. Your gimmick should also tell you what your starting audience is. So you want to make sure that you note that. And don't forget that if you're a heel or if you're a face, you also get the heel or face move. Those are listed. Actually, I believe we've got those on the basic moves tab. We've got the baby face and the heel choices there. That's another way that you can use momentum. So let me give you all a couple of minutes here to do finishing on it. And then we'll go around and do sort of full introductions. And then we'll do the heat map. One of the things about this game, I'll talk a little bit of mechanics while you're making those choices, is there are some set stat to rolls. For example, when you work real stiff, you always roll real. When you cut a promo, you always roll look. When we actually get to the wrestling and the wrestling ring, you're going to have some flexibility about what you want to use to make your roll. And you're going to kind of lean into your description, into your strengths there. And I just want to tell you that's the place where there is some sort of choice of approach. The gameplay loop of this game is that you have heat with other wrestlers, and it can be asymmetrical. That heat goes from 0 to 4. Somebody might have heat 1 with you, but you might have heat 4 with them. It can vary. You're always going to start with 1 heat with your opposite number. So if you're heel, you're going to have 1 heat with all the faces, and vice versa. If you wrestle with somebody that you have 4 heat with at any point during that match, it raises your audience up. So you want to generate more heat. Heat then leads into audience. When you get 4 audience, then you are over. You're the top dog at that point. And it's also one of the ways that you can get advances in the game. Getting a belt is a way to get an advance. Getting to audience 4 is a way to get an advance. Those are all important things. If at the end of the show, though, you're at audience 0, you are fired. So there is a thing. There are ways to lose audience throughout the course of play here. Tragic stories that get told on screen. Make my notes on my heat map here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started with our intros. If there's anything you need to fill in as we're going on, or fill in later, it is entirely up to you. Alexi has made the poor choice of taking the first column. As people who know me know that I will work for the first session left to right across here. So we're gonna start with you with your introduction. Alexi, tell us about Captain Nightshade.
Yeah, so Captain Nightshade is a pirate cursed to wander and wrestle, possibly for eternity, until and unless he can make up for his crimes and thefts and piracies. I picked the monster gimmick for him, so there's definitely going to be like a supernatural aura that's part of his shtick, part of his look, and the moves I've got here, not of this world, is I pick a signature match stipulation, and I have no idea what sort of match stipulations are appropriate for wrestling, but I'm leaning towards matches with Captain Nightshade require like a moat around the wrestling ring, just for that pirate flavor, We
can do an elevated plank if you want to have a gangplank match or something like that. We can figure that out. Tied to anchors. We've got all kinds of nautical options there. Yeah.
Excellent. And then I took the shoot kill move. So there's a like go after somebody for real. Now my reel is -2, so I expect that I will I expect if I go for that, it could go terribly wrong for me. So but it's a one shot. Got to live a little.
Yeah. So how long do you think that Captain Nightshade has been around? I mean, a pirate gimmick. I mean, that's more. We passed the heyday of Pirates of the Caribbean. So, has it been around for a while, or has he been here for a little bit of time and kind of decided that this was the gimmick to make exciting again?
I think he's been in this gimmick for a while, but he's the valence of it has changed. Like I think there was probably a heel version where he was just a straight up dastardly pirate, and now he's come around and is a face, even though he's a scary monster, because he has a like pirate code that he adheres to and a sort of quest for redemption narrative about how if he can battle his demons, perhaps he'll be freed from his curse.
Do you think that shift has been recent, or has it been this whole season on the road that you've been doing a face?
Probably a recent shift to the face side of things.
Let me ask you this: your wrestler himself, is he happier being a face, or does he miss being a heel?
I think there's things that were easier about being a heel, but he's going to give it a go, right?
Okay.
He wants to see if there's new life, on the other side of the equation.
Awesome. All right. Well, that gives a good sense. We will come around to you. Go ahead and take a look at your gimmick book about the heat questions on those. We'll have you throw those out when we come back around to you.
All right.
Let's come to Nigel Stewart. Puckett, please tell us about Nigel.
Nigel is your basic kind of hardcore wrestler who's been kicking around the indies for a while, doing various and seemingly increasingly dangerous matches, trying to get notoriety on YouTube for doing ridiculous spots. The sort of thing where you jump off of a roof through a few panes of glass through a few panes of glass into the bed of a pickup truck that's filled with rusty nails type stuff. He's really, really, really been trying to get noticed. And I think finally somebody did and said, all right, we'll give you a shot. As long as you don't hurt any of our actual wrestlers, as long as you don't hurt any people in the promotion who need to be here so that we can actually maintain the storylines and continue moving forward. So this is this is something of a break for him.
How long do you think he's been with Gauntlet League Wrestling? Has he been with the promotion the whole time it's been on the road this year, or is this a more recent thing?
I have a sneaking suspicion that he happened to be in town wrestling, basically in an armory or a high school gym or something like that, when there was a sudden illness, and one of the wrestlers in Gauntlet League said, "Hey, I know this guy. We can at least get a fill-in for the night.
Okay.
You'll probably just have to give him a burger to pay him, and he'll be fine. He'll be happy with that."
And
more
and
than
he's
he's used to.
stuck around after that then?
I think so.
Okay.
So he's probably been around, I don't know, a few shows. Maybe there was a sudden injury, somebody got the flu, somebody got food poisoning. And he's basically driving a beat up old car to try to get there. He's not necessarily traveling with them because I don't think he's quite earned that yet.
Okay. And your moves, so the rest of the table knows.
All right. So his moves, excuse me while I switch back over to the other tab. His set move is tables and ladders and chairs. Oh my! Whenever he's booked in a match, he can add the hardcore stipulation: no disqualification, no countout, and weapons are allowed. I will also point out that I put a veil on unprotected chair or weapon shots to the head.
Okay.
So he's not going to be hitting people in the head with, say, a steel chair. Now, the back, you get the idea.
Okay.
So at that point, the match uses the hardcore stipulation move. He is also a master of hardcore, and whenever he's booked in a hardcore match, he gets 2 momentum. So basically, every match is a hardcore match, and he starts every match with 2 momentum.
That is nice. All right, that gives us a good sense of who Nigel is. We'll come around and talk heat questions in just a minute. Let's come to Zach. Zach, please tell us about Hot Rod.
Yeah, so John Hot Rod Lakaitis he's the veteran. He's been around for a while. He got his start a couple decades ago. He got his start. He kind of plays up his ties to the auto workers of the Detroit area. And he has historically, when he got his start, he was a big. He'd probably come in with a UAW shirt on, and he kind of played up his bona fides. And he's been around for a while. His shtick hasn't really, I guess, gone mainstream. Maybe the Big Show thinks it's a little bit too political. But he's tried a few things over the years. He did turn. I think he turned heel for the middle portion of his career. Once the unions thing started, the labor movement kind of went through the doldrums for a while, and he had to turn heel, and it never sat well with him. But it kept him in the circuit. But recently he's decided that with probably maybe with the input of creative to give it another go now that labor seems to be having a resurgence. So he's kind of picked up his old shtick. It's a little bit sad. He's pretty beat up. He doesn't move as quick as he used to. Some of the old timers in the audience love the Bruce Springsteen he comes out to, but it does play a little bit camp now. But he tries to take it very seriously, and he's the utmost professional. And I think his moves kind of tie into that. He has veteran instincts, so he gets +1 momentum whenever he starts a match. And then I've also selected for him put over. So when I show vulnerability to an opponent in the ring and make them look good, roll plus work. So, and if it's successful, we both get an audience. If it's sort of successful, one of us gains an audience and the other one loses one. So his whole idea is he wants to put on a good show. He wants to put in the work. He's an honorable guy, and I think he feels a little bit skeevy about kind of flipping to labor now that's in the ascendant, and he doesn't want he always worries people are going to think he's just kind of making a mockery of it or taking advantage of the politics, and he really doesn't want that to be part of the ring, even though he sort of picked it for himself. So
yeah. So what's his outfit these days? What was he come in with? How's he
Oh,
dressed in the ring?
yeah, he wears jorts, like very short jorts. And I think he comes out like he'll come out with like a pipe wrench or something, and like and a belt on, and he probably has a jean jacket as well with like with you know, kind of probably it's got his like local like IBU like organization on it.
Mhm.
And so, but he fights in jorts and these like black boots up to his like calves, I think.
Nice. That is a classy look.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Well, we'll come back to you when we talk heat questions. Sean,
Yes.
please tell us about your character, Eleanor.
Great. So Eleanor is from Baltimore, Maryland, and her last name comes from the fact that, rumorly, she is a descendant of the author Edgar Allan Poe. And the way I see her look is that she's kind of got one foot in the kind of Victorian Gothic kind of theatricality, and the other foot in more of a contemporary Baltimore kind of like John Waters quirk, if that makes sense.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Yeah. She's probably one of the newest wrestlers going on. I see her as a pretty inexperienced but kind of crowd favorite, popular character that's kind of taken that anti-hero as a way of kind of moving up the ranks and kind of getting some local fame.
Does she lean more towards the sort of the scary with the Gothic, or is it more of the Gothic Lolita? How do you imagine that look there?
I think it's more gloomy and morose than anything else.
Okay. Tell us about the moves that you took.
Great. So as the anti-hero, Eleanor is very anti-establishment. And so one of her moves is the rules what rules move, which means that when I break the rules, I roll plus look. And if I get away with it really well, I can actually book the finish on the match. If not, I can gain momentum or heat with my opponent. And if I fail, I get DQ'd. The other move I got was Twitch the Curtain, which is whenever Eleanor kind of airs legit grievances on camera, I can roll plus real. And I can roll plus real for moves I make outside the ring for the rest of the episode. And I actually had a question about that. Is outside the ring meaning like physically outside the ring, or outside the ring like off camera backstage?
That would be anything like cut a promo or anything like that, work the audience, any of those things, I would say.
Awesome. That sounds great.
Unless you're in the ring doing that, but any of the like on camera things that are outside. Yeah. What is her grievance? Does she have a grievance yet, or are you going to figure that out and play?
I'm going to say that her grievance is a general kind of disdain for the way she sees wrestling shaping up.
Okay.
Both in terms of the kind of like, both the kind of like arch masculinity of so much of it, and also just that I think she thinks she has really great ideas. And so she probably runs into a lot of problems with management and the creatives in terms of like thinking that her kind of new, fresh ideas, at least according to her, are much more legit and kind of crowd motivating than the ones that may have already been used for a long time. Awesome.
Strong social media presence then, I'm assuming?
Definitely.
Okay. All right. Excellent. We'll come back and talk with you when we get to heat questions, which brings us to the inestimable Archibald Douglas. David, please tell us about Archibald.
Certainly. Archibald Douglas markets himself as the Marquis of Queensberry. He's got kind of the classic, like almost like Victorian strongman look coming on. He wears, well, before he gets into the ring, he sort of wears, a waistcoat and shirt sleeves. He's got a big handlebar moustache that's always impeccably waxed. When he actually gets into the ring, he wears those sort of classic, like long boxing shorts and little booty things. He's sort of, like I said, you might have seen in the in a sort of Victorian boxer. As I say, he's in the technician playbook, so he's got some actual skills. I said I think I think maybe in his past career, I think he actually trained probably as a boxer rather than a wrestler, but he's kind of transitioned over as he never really got anywhere in the other ring. His sort of shtick, his guiding thing, and I think the reason why he comes across as more of a heel is that he's all about how how wrestling needs to be civilized and people need to be taught how to do things properly, and that's sort of his gimmick there. I think he's probably only fairly recently come over from. I should have said yes, he is indeed. But should have been abundantly clear from the description. He is British, and has I think probably only recently come over to the States to wrestle in the Gauntlet League.
Excellent. I love the playing fields of Eaton as the choice
Yes.
there. And your moves, I know you said versatile.
Yes, so I have versatile, which as I mentioned before, means that if he's facing, if his sort of general role is heel, but if he's facing another heel, he can use the face move. If he's facing if he's against a face, he can use the heel move. Because, as I say, I think I see him as being kind of overbearing but rule abiding, which is where I think that sort of versatility comes in. Marrying up to that, his other move is called sportsmanship, which means that if he shakes hands with another wrestler, he gets a roll which can essentially lead to both of them either gaining some momentum, gaining heat with each other, or him picking who attacks first. If he botches, then the other person manages to sneak in a sneak attack before that happens.
Classic.
I really like this rule-abiding British pugilist, heel face switcheroo guy.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be fun.
Classic. And he's been around in the biz for a while.
A little while, I think. More so back in Britain, I think. But yeah, I think he's probably got to that point where he's done fairly well in some local indies back in the UK, and has had this sort of opportunity to come out and knock around the Gauntlet League for a little bit.
Awesome. All right, that gives us a good sense of you. We'll come back with you on those heat questions in just a bit, but we're going to swing back to the start, back to Captain Nightshade. Captain Nightshade, you've got some heat questions.
I do.
What you'll do is you'll put it out there. You may say, I think this might be blah, and you can ask them if they want it, or you can just say, here's what it says. Anybody want to take that up? If they take that up, you mark down that heat on your sheet. You get +1 heat. They don't mark anything. You get +1 heat. That stacks on top of everything else. And you can have multiple connections to people.
Nice.
Let's hear your first one.
Who is terrified of me backstage?
Ooh. Anybody want to take that up? A long-time wrestler here.
What's your backstage persona like?
I think he's like pretty method. So like stays somewhat in character most of the time.
Yeah, I'm kind of freaked out by you because I'm a working guy. Like when I'm in the ring, I'm in character. When I'm out, I'm just like, I just want to have a beer and like talk about like the Lions game. And like, I don't get this whole method thing at all. And it kind of freaks me out.
I buy it. Absolutely.
Excellent. So mark 1 heat with Hot Rod.
All right.
Your second one?
Yeah. Who helps me come up with new directions for my character?
I'm going to say that might be me or Eleanor. I think we both have this kind of very high theatrical kind of style.
Absolutely.
And since we're kind of on opposite sides of the face heel kind of thing, I think that might be a good kind of collaboration.
I wonder if you even gave me some of the ideas for this like redemption arc, this new story element for Captain Nightshade.
Yeah, maybe I started an Instagram account for you and kind of started building some kind of storylines around like what we think we can do to kind of bring back the character, because I think I'm really invested in your kind of style. I think I'm kind of drawn to those more, high concept characters.
Absolutely.
That makes sense. So Nightshade, you will mark down 1 heat with Eleanor.
All right. Who's made me look weak?
Ooh.
If you don't mind the idea of Captain Nightshade being beaten with a kendo stick, that might be the guy who brings a weapon to the ring pretty much every time he shows up.
Forgive my ignorance. What's a kendo stick?
Basically, it's a bamboo stick that's taped together, and it's often used. For some reason, they're always under wrestling rings. I don't know why, but they're always there, literally. And basically, they just start splintering the second somebody's hit with them.
Yeah. Yep. Big fake wooden sword that gives way.
Yeah, that makes sense. So then that would certainly add to some heat, between these two, because you do have that weapons allowed stipulation. So
and a lot of times weapons are about the only way that you can level the playing field against a monster.
Truth. So Nightshade mark a heat with Nigel, and I think you have one more, right?
Last one, yeah. Who can stand up to me in the ring?
Yeah, I think that probably makes sense for Archibald. Because I think he is actually quite physically strong, quite a big guy. So yeah, I can see him. Obviously, not as impressive as the captain, but can definitely hold his own, I think.
Absolutely, that makes sense to me.
Excellent. So you have those, and you've got the heat with your opposite numbers. And so we've got that set. That brings us to Nigel. Let's go through your questions, Nigel.
Okay. Who is jealous of my devoted fan base? Not sure why you would be there. They're all bloodthirsty and very, but if you want to be jealous of their devotion, go ahead.
I'll go ahead and say me. I feel like because we're the two heels, yeah? Is that right? Or two of the three heels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Eleanor is very jealous because you're a more established kind of character. You've been doing this longer, and I think that, I'm not looking up to you the same way I'm looking up to other people. I think it's more of a competition.
And that actually makes a whole lot of sense because she's got a very interesting... So, okay, there's that one.
Okay.
Who beat me bloody most recently?
Ooh.
I'm happy for that to be me, unless anyone else would rather.
I was thinking you or Nightshade. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, I'll give it to the pugilist.
Yep.
Right. Maybe we had a worked match that turned into a shoot, and you actually started punching me for real.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I definitely see, obviously given the gimmick, but I can definitely see a lot of like strikes in Archibald's techniques, and maybe we got into it, and you didn't give as much weight to the punch as he was expecting. He didn't pull it as much as he ought to have done, and
right.
Yeah.
So, who has returned from an injury that I gave them?
I think that works for me. That okay. You played dirty with these weapons. Knocked Nightshade out, but he's coming roaring back, and you gotta brace yourself.
Yeah, I was thinking either that or for you are either who can take everything I can dish out, which leaves Zach.
Yeah, I think Hot Rod. Yeah, Hot Rod. He's taking a beating. He's got quite a few injuries, and he might be able to take one or two.
Veterans usually do.
Cool.
All right. Mark that down. That gives a good sense of Nigel. Let's come to Hot Rod then.
All righty. Let's see here. All right. Who am I keeping out of the spotlight?
Ooh. Interesting.
I'm starting to think it's Nigel, but I'm not sure. Because Nigel's the new person.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Okay. Who is my protege?
I mean, I'm the youngest, I think, or the character is. There could be this very unusual thing going on between the two of us. Like, I think our style's going to be more radically different, but maybe that's working because you are, the person with the most experience. And I have a lot to learn. Right?
Yeah.
Great.
Sounds good to me. All right, Eleanor. Cool. And who is undercutting me? Who dare?
I mean, plausibly, that's Nightshade, right? If kind of both of us are coming from heeldom to facedom, and maybe I've just kept
That's
more
wonderful.
of an interesting edge in the transition, and that feels like an undercut of your gimmick.
Sounds great, and I am scared of you because you freak me out.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds great. And finally, who has no respect for all of the work I've put into this company?
Oh yeah, that's definitely me.
Yep, I love it. All right, well then I have heat with all of you. Wonderful.
Excellent. That brings us to Eleanor.
All right. So my first question, I think I may know the answer, but I'm going to still put it out there. With whom do I have a reluctant alliance?
I think me.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. So that's what I was thinking. So these next ones are pretty tough questions, and so I'm just going to go through them. Who did I have to kick the shit out of to show how badass I am?
It occurs to me that there's very few people on the roster who would probably be willing to do that, except for Nigel.
Yeah.
Nigel's all about that.
Yeah, I think the hardcore makes a lot of sense with that, right? Cool. Next question. Who do I think is a slave to management?
Who goes along with what management says to do?
I mean, I could see that being me as well, but if someone else wants that.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and it also complicates our relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
A reluctant protege.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. And then the last one is who wishes they were as cool as me?
I think that works, right? That kind of you're really working the aesthetic and gaining a following, and I'm in a similar boat, as it were, but still finding my feet. So
no,
yeah.
I love that. I think that works really well.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Excellent. And that's all four, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Archibald, let's have you bring us home.
Certainly. So I think the first one I'm going to ask, because I think it's the not the if I've not scrolled past and lost them all again. Here we go. If I know it is the first on the list. who was holding me back as my tag team partner?
Ooh.
I was thinking probably one of the two heels. I was wondering maybe Eleanor.
Yeah, that sounds great. How long ago was that, or what do you see the backstory for that?
Probably fairly well. I mean, I think we're both fairly recent to the to this league, and I think we've got similar but different like motivations as well.
Precisely.
So yeah, I think maybe we've been put together as a tag team. But yeah, I think it's just purely. I think that Archibald just doesn't see her as technically gifted a wrestler, and
that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
And then
and the next one is who's trying to learn by watching me in the ring?
Honestly, I think I could be liking your shtick and how technical you are. So I feel like I might be trying to pick up a few things to spice up my repertoire.
Cool.
I'm like open to that too, right? That's the one, and the thing, and you can have as many yeses as you get on these. Is that right?
No, it's usually just one, but
Okay.
you can double up. Like two people can answer. One person can answer two of the questions.
Got it. Cool. Then I'll cede that to the veteran.
Cool.
Thank you. Okay.
The next one is, to be fair, it's similar but different to that one anyway. The next one is who is jealous of my skills?
Yeah, I'll take that one.
Cool.
Perfect.
And finally, who is trying to teach me to be more of an entertainer?
I'm open to that one also.
Or maybe that was Eleanor. Might contribute to part of the problem. Like, you wanted technical skills and she wanted to be a little bit more flamboyant and performance oriented.
Yeah, I think that could explain the split in our unfortunate tag team arrangement. Right?
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good.
Awesome.
Is that your last one?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. So we are going to take a 10-minute break. When we come back, we're going to start into some matches here.
Cool.
I got to make some notes and book the preliminary booking on the show. So back in 10.
Awesome. Thanks, Phil.
Puckett, are you back?
I'm here.
Okay. So we take up here. It's a Thursday night. You have been on the road. You just did a show in Kalamazoo, Michigan, in which you got paid partially in donuts. Before that, you probably were on the outskirts of Chicago, maybe in Gary. But you've arrived here in Ann Arbor. You're just outside of Detroit. They've got you in a place called the Century Center. It's actually a nice kind of convention center towards downtown. Got some decent space. On the weekends, it's used for like local theater productions, but they've got it kind of moved out and booked and got some space there for you. They've got essentially the road versions of the Jumbotrons, big screens up with projectors on the sides. They've got, because they do have sports events here from time to time, exhibitions and things, you do have a locker room that you can work in, got some space for that. And the crowd is kind of rowdy. What you know is that a bunch of University of Michigan students have ironically come to the show tonight. So you never know what's going to happen, whether they're going to buy in or how much beer they've had before they got here and all of that. So that is where we take up. And right now I'm going to tell you what the process, what the right now the booking is for the show. We are going to start with a match between Hot Rod and Eleanor. And then we're going to have a match between Archibald and Herr Euro, a non-player wrestler. And then we're going to have a match between Nigel and Captain Nightshade, but we may see Archibald returning for that match. And then the intent is that we will probably then wrap up with the I Am the Hard Holder, which is our King of the Hill match. And that is actually going to be for our RPG belt. That's our road belt, belt for it, but we'll come back to that. So that is where we're starting. So the way this works is I generally give people, if they want to do any kind of scene before matches, interactions, give people a chance to do that. Maybe not be, may not be. We'll then focus in on the two wrestlers, and those wrestlers will have a chance to cut a promo, and we'll talk about what that looks like. And then we actually go to the entrance and the playing out. Someone will have the chance to be the announcer for the match, and I'll talk about what that means. So a third person will be in there for that, and you can even have two announcers depending how you want to do it. But what's playing while things are getting set up, while the audience is coming in, is the hype package for you. And the hype package consists essentially of the previously on Gauntlet League Wrestling bits that we see. So let me ask you this, Alexi, for Captain Nightshade, what do you suppose the previously on, what kind of things are we seeing there for that little package when your title card comes up, and then we see some fast, quick shots? What do we see?
Yeah, we definitely see, kind of heel Captain Nightshade in the past, forcing a competitor to walk the gangplank, as his finisher move, and it's in one of these places where he's required there to be like a moat around the wrestling ring that he like dunks the person into at the end. Mm-hmm. And then there's kind of some kind of a shot of that time when he got injured, and then a shot of his return match when he comes out with like an eye patch and a peg leg, and then a dramatic moment like tears off the eye patch and like busts out of the peg leg, revealing that it was just a prop, and then he's back in action.
Excellent. And that's the captain we're going to see tonight, having recovered, full, strong in this full face mode. And speaking of that, we cut to the title card for Nigel Stewart, the person who dealt you that injury. Nigel, what does your previously on look like?
It's bloody. It's basically barbed wire bats and people going through tables as he does sit down power bombs, and he sits there amidst the wreckage of particle board and metal, looking around, seeming very pleased with himself. Moonsaults off of the top rope to the floor, dragging people into the audience, beating them with a fan's chair that they were sitting on, that sort of thing.
So big old high flyer moves. Okay. Does your audience start at 0 or does it start at 1 for the hardcore?
As far as I know, it starts at 0, but let me check that real quick.
Yeah. Just want to make sure. So you get all of the audience that you
starts and resets to audience +1.
Okay, good. So we see that, we get that's where we come in on a bloody shot of you, the smile, and then we cut and Hot Rod, we see your title card there, comes in, probably done in very iron steel logo there. What does your previously on look like?
There's I think it shows me pulling up to like one of the previous arenas in a Mustang, which everyone thinks is mine, but I don't own a Mustang. But pulling up in a Mustang. It's showing me like working the crowd. I think one of his shticks is he hands beers out to like the crowd. He always has like a 30 rack and he's just tossing out beers. And then it shows him in the ring, and he's a solid dude. He's not a high flying guy, so there's a lot of power moves. There's a lot of clotheslining going on. There's some pile drivers. And I think that the end of it is he climbs the turnbuckle and, kind of Steve Austin style cracks a beer and just chugs it and like toasts the crowd.
Excellent. Yeah. Because the crowd sound, they raise it up there, and then the screen goes dark and we see the Eleanor Poe title card come up and the music gets a little more sinister. And Eleanor, what is your previously on?
Yeah, so I think her previously on is like she's actually at a big wooden desk illuminated by this like deep purple light, and she's kind of journaling with a quill, like her last achievements and things like that. We see a moment of the tag team with Archibald. We see her in the ring with probably a very kind of inexpensively DIY made like stuffed raven on her shoulder, kind of growling and prowling around the side. And then we see her kind of jumping from the top rope in her signature move, which is the Nevermore drop.
Nice.
And then we cut back to her finishing her journaling, putting the quill back in its holder, and then standing up and walking towards the stadium.
Excellent. And then we cut to the title card. Archibald, when we see your name come up, the music changes, and what do we see for your previously on?
Yeah, so the screen, it like flickers into like sepia and that kind of flickery, old-timey, film effect on it. There's probably some like jaunty piano music playing underneath. We see him kind of working an old school like speedball, throwing some punches at it. We see him in the ring, sort of beating somebody back across the ring until they're sort of up against the ropes. There's probably a shot of him with sort of somebody in like a proper like sort of Greco-Roman style clinch on the ground, and I think it ends with like a shot of him in his fully clothed, drinking his cup of tea with the Union Jack fluttering in the background.
Perfect. So the crowd is watching that. That's going to probably run some loops on that as everybody's coming in. Before we get into roles or anything like that, I do want to summarize our lines and veils for the play today. Remember that we have the X card on the table. Our lines are harmed children, racism, sexual assault, suicide, unprotected chair shots to the head or other weapons to the head. And then our veils are eye injuries, graphic gore, sexual content, and torture. So we're going to have some hardcore stuff, but if any of that gets too far, please X card as is necessary. But we know that anything too graphic, we are keeping back. So, we see you roll in. You all arrive there. Does anybody have a scene they want to call, or would you like to roll into this first match and then see how it goes on from there? Well, let's go ahead and roll into this first match so we can get a sense of how things go, and then we'll have some backstage stuff after that. Probably open the show with probably like El Toro versus Gargoyle Lord. A couple of lucha out there to get the crowd excited, and then it cuts from that, and we're going to come to Eleanor. We're going to come to you first. Yes. You're going to get the first chance to cut a promo. So this is under the basic moves. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be rolling with look. So what kind of promo would we cut for you? Is it a backstage interview? Is it a pre-made package? Is it something outside? Where do we think we see that?
I think Eleanor goes with the pre-made package. I think she wants the production value. And I think we cut right to her kind of like leaving that desk and walking into the arena. So it feels almost like a live shot, even though she probably recorded it earlier in the day. Uh-huh. She has that same kind of purple light, and she's walking very silently and strongly and steadfastly with the camera kind of panning around her, beautiful kind of Gothic outfit with these like strings and corsets and leather and feathers and all those things. And she looks right into the camera as she continues walking, and she just kind of stops and stares and addresses Hot Rod directly.
Okay.
And that's the opponent, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she just says, Hot Rod, you and I have worked together, but tonight will be the last of our alliance. We will be working together nevermore. And she kind of extends her arms, and she has these kind of like black feathers that make her almost look like a crow or a raven, as you were. And she continues walking as it fades to black.
Okay. Wow. That sounds great. You've given us the talk. You've named your opponent. Let's go ahead and have you roll with look.
Great. I think I know what I'm doing here. I'm going to hit 2d6 and hit submit.
Yeah. They should spin.
And I think I got a 6. Does anyone want to?
Yes.
So a 6 plus look is a 6.
Okay. So now you start with 1 momentum.
Yes. I think I'm going to go ahead and use that and move it up to a 7.
Okay.
And I am going to use that to gain +1 heat, which actually gives me a +4 heat.
Yeah, look at you.
Wow.
Rod. We've got serious beef.
Yeah. That is super. So to the audience, they know the history. They're kind of getting excited. You're popular. They're waiting, and that it maybe doesn't land quite as sharply as you wanted to, but you can still feel the stands get excited, the energy in there. And we cut from that to Hot Rod. Hot Rod, what kind of thing do we see? We see you in the locker room. We see a prepaid package. Do we see Victoria Onyx interviewing you? What do we see?
I think it's the interview. Hot Rod doesn't do the production value type stuff, and I think he's just after he's ostensibly taken in this promo from Eleanor, and he's just shaking his head, and I think he's being interviewed, and he's just like, Ellie, you're breaking my heart. We had something good, kid, but You know what? You're about to find out that this isn't Edgar Allan Poe country. This is Elmore Leonard country. Yuma, baby. You're going to find out what the Steel City is all about. And yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's have you cut that promo roll with a little look. Named your opponent, called them out.
All right. Let's see here. Roll selected. Oh, there you go. 10.
10. So the audience loves it. They're excited for this. So you would have started with 1 momentum because your audience. You get a second momentum here because of that 10 plus, and then under the cut of promo, you get to pick one of those results there. Created book you in a match, add a stipulation to a match, gain another momentum, or gain a heat with the subject of your promo.
I think I'm going to gain a heat with Eleanor.
When in doubt, heat and momentum are always your 2 good picks.
Yeah,
okay. What does that take you to?
That takes me to 2 heat with Eleanor.
Okay. All right. Now you should be at 3, I think, because you've got at least 1 heat question, plus she's your opposite number.
Oh, right.
So you would have got another one. Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So you'd be at 3.
Perfect.
All right. So let me ask, of the 3 people who are not participating, which of you would like to be on the announcer's table? Essentially, you'll get a chance to cut in and say things. The other thing the announcer gets to do is, if someone does very badly, you can put them over, in which you narrate how, in fact, a move was actually more spectacular than it appeared. And you can bump them up a result level. So if they fail, you get a miss that goes to the 7 to 9. If you get 7 to 9, you can bump it up to a 10 plus. You can do that once for each wrestler. So anyone want to be on the desk for this first one?
I'll volunteer.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was also going to volunteer. Can 2 people be announcers?
2 people on. Yeah, absolutely. Right. Yeah. So let me ask you this: do you have an announcer persona that you have there, or is it your wrestler who's actually at the desk calling this out? What do you think, Puckett?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Alexi, are you thinking about going more straight play-by-play or color commentator?
Oh, I want to do color commentators so I could work in Edgar Allan Poe jokes.
Okay. In that case, I'll go straight play-by-play, and let's invent a announcer, Sir David Sheckley.
Sir David Sheckley.
I cannot do a British accent, but let's just assume that he's a Brit with a very posh accent.
Okay, excellent. And
like Lord Alfred Hayes.
And then Alexi, who is your announcer?
Lenore Usher.
Nice. Do they just bring you out for Eleanor's matches? Is that the?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. That is perfect. So we cut. There's 2 entrance ramps that come down. A decent house, kind of packed in. We start with Eleanor. Eleanor, tell me what your entrance looks like. And what do we hear? What do we see?
Great. So you hear some awesome Baltimore-oriented, kind of loud, pumping, contemporary music that kind of juxtaposes her very antiquated look. She walks in and smoke kind of moves through her feet and kind of swirls around her. And again, she is like a strong, silent competitor when she enters this ring, trying to give that kind of like super morose, focused, kind of vaguely pissed off aura. So she just kind of lifts up the ropes and takes her position in the corner of the ring, and then very dramatically kind of swings her eyes to the place that Hot Rod is going to be entered and just immediately starts glaring down at that place.
Okay. We hear that music kind of cut out. And then Hot Rod, what is your entrance like? What is the music that suddenly kicks up from that?
Oh yeah, so it's his entrance music is Bruce Springsteen's "Born to Run," and he lets it get up going, and then he comes out, and I think because he's from Detroit, he's got a couple guys coming out with them, some of his buddies from like the veterans from foreign wars, like coming out in leather jackets, and they've got like 30 racks of beer, and we're just walking around like tossing beers out to the crowd, being just like, "What's up, Ann Arbor?" And that's his whole shtick, is just kind of walking around, getting the crowd up, and then he takes his time and he hands his jacket off to his lackeys, and he takes his tool belt off, and then he gets up onto the into the ring and rips, and he's ripping his shirt off and just pounding his chest, and stop, and he's ready to go.
So let me ask you this. One of the things you named the city, you've got some people from there.
Oh yeah.
You could take your cheap heat, you get that once per session, and you get a momentum.
Yeah.
Or you can roll if you're working the crowd. Take the risk.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm working the crowd. I with the kids from the university there. I think I'm taking a risk here by doing my old shtick.
So what are you going to roll then with your audience? What is your starting audience?
And, for the veteran, the starting audience is 2.
Oh, so this is a smart move for you. Let's see it.
Yeah, let's see here. So that's a 6 plus 2 is 8.
Okay, on a 7 to 9, they pop. You can get another momentum. Or you can take control of the match.
What would taking control of the match?
You would start in control. We would have you start going.
Yeah, I think I'll start in control of the match.
Okay, then you land. The audience is excited. The way that we do this is whoever has control of the match is going to have a chance to kind of narrate a sequence of what happens, describing what they do, how the other person reacts, and so on. Kind of moving on until we get to like a high point, a big move, and that's the point at which we'll kind of stop and make that wrestling roll, and that might change the control up. Again, momentum is used to boost your rolls. It can be used to activate your heel or your babyface move, and it can be used spending 1 to interrupt as well. Before you get rolling into there, let's hear the opening announce bits from Sir David Sheckley and from Lenore Usher. Let's hear your starting match pattern.
Welcome back again, Gauntlet League Wrestling fans. We find ourselves in Ann Arbor today, and we are starting off with a very hot grudge match. Now, Lenore, you've been in the ring with Eleanor. What can you tell us about her style?
People underestimate Eleanor. They think, yes, she's this little girl with these black feathers. They don't realize they're being lured deeper and deeper to be bricked into a basement like that unfortunate Montresor.
Well, that sounds perfectly awful. What was your experience in wrestling with her? What weaknesses did she show?
Like so many of the best, she has a weakness for the dramatic, waiting till the opportune moment.
And Hot Rod, were you ever in the ring with him?
I've only observed him from afar, I'm afraid. He seems a simple man, straightforward.
From afar, you say? Like a raven watching from the belfry of a church?
Or the imp of the perverse, watching from the depths of the psyche.
Excellent. Let's cut to the ring. Describe to me, Hot Rod, Eleanor's got the dramatics, she's kind of standing there, you see crowds up on your side. How do you start out this match?
Yeah, I think he's sort of is in his sort of like grappler stance. What's like Eleanor's style like? How do you think she's moving about the ring, Sean?
I think she's slow and stalking, kind of like sticking close to the ropes and just kind of circling around where you are.
Yeah. So I think there's this like, and I think you like are like, I think Hot Rod is just like he looks like a little bit like reluctant to like strike this person. I think he's playing up like his like this look of like betrayal and heartbreak on his face, and he's just like, I think he's like, we don't have to do this, and I think I think I'm going to sort of leave myself open, make myself vulnerable, so you can like take the first shot at me if you want.
Great. So
I think that's going to would that trigger my put over?
Yeah, let's have you you call on that maybe hear the sad Anya music, and let's have you roll with work.
Yeah, let's see here. Okay. So that's 8 plus my work is 2, so that's a 10.
Both you and Eleanor, that the crowd is eating us up. Both of you get an audience.
Sweet.
Eleanor, how do you break this spell?
So I think we just stay there frozen, staring at each other for a moment. And, I think if you look very closely, our faces are kind of going from like, is this real? This is real. Are you pissed off? We are pissed off. And then Eleanor just charges, and she kind of lowers her shoulder and is coming right at you.
Yes. That's awesome.
And Eleanor, you have control of the match because when you put over, that's him. He hands control over to you in that moment there.
Awesome.
So tell me about this next sequence.
Yeah, so I'm actually wondering, since we have such high heat, I'm wondering if we want to execute something amazing and memorable right off the bat to kind of get that going. Hot Rod, what kind of moves have you mentored me on? What can we do right now as I charge at you?
Oh, that's great. I think, well, I'm more of the power guy, so I think a lot of power, like a lot of power moves are in my game. And I do a lot of like, and I really like throw, like, because I'm a pretty stocky guy, so I like getting momentum and throwing folks into the rope. So a lot of rope work and a lot of power moves, I would say.
Yeah, so why don't you do that? Like, I come charging at you and you quickly slide out of the way and start like spinning me around and throw me to the ropes. Like,
perfect. Yeah. So I kind of catch you and use your own speed against you, throwing you into the ropes, and maybe like as you're coming back, like I think I really enjoy a good clothesline.
Awesome. And I kind of like go, and since I have control, I'm going to kind of like take that half-heartedly, and you kind of see a burst of a couple feathers like falling from my costume as it hits.
Yeah.
And then I swing around and just wrap my arms around your waist and try my hardest just to kind of reverse you straight into the mat.
Yeah.
Unusual move. Yeah.
Great.
That's awesome.
So I think that's like my big one.
And let's have you roll with your heat.
Yeah. So I'm going to see what happens here. I got 11 plus 4. So that worked.
Yeah. So we look at the basic wrestling move. You rolled with heat on a 10 plus. You hit it great. You retain control, and you can either gain 2 momentum or gain another heat with your opponent.
I'm going to take momentum here. So I'm at +2.
Okay. And boom. Hot Rod hits the mat. The mat shakes. The audience gasps as that hit goes through. Eleanor, you have control. How do you transition into this next bit?
Yeah, so I feel like the impact of Hot Rod hitting that mat is thunderous, right? Hot Rod, are you someone who kind of like goes with the weight and kind of lays out, or are you someone who springs back really quickly?
Oh, I think I play up like the wear and tear on my joints. So I think. I think that coupled with like the dramatics of of shaking off this betrayal, I'm like, oh shit. So I think I ham it up and like really like play it up.
Yeah, and so as you kind of slowly kind of ham it up and stumble around, Eleanor is another one of those like stalking circles around the ring, and I think from her actual outfit, she pulls out a bottle of Amontillado branded wine and takes a big swig and kind of throws the rest into the audience. And then she kind of walks over to you, and are you up now, or are you still kind of?
Oh yeah. I think I've gotten up.
Mhm.
I'm and I'm like cracking my neck, and like I just kind of look at you, and I'm like, that's it then, huh?
Yeah, let's go. And so once again, she charges you, but this time she kind of has both hands up, and as she gets to you, she kind of lunges at you and kind of puts her arms kind of around your neck and starts spinning. How do you respond to that?
All right. Okay. So you're like, you got your arm around my neck.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're just kind of like trying to like take me down, basically.
Yeah. Giving you a chance to kind of fight back and stumble around.
Yeah. So yeah, I think at first I'm spinning around, but I'm slowly like gaining using it to like shift the center of momentum. And I think I'm like trying to I'm like slapping at you, trying to grab you, and maybe I get you like by the hair or something, and I'm just like peeling you off me.
Yeah, and like as you're slapping my face, like Eleanor's face is emotionless. She's just like taking it, and you see this like steely look in her eyes. And then you grab me by the hair, you kind of pull me around, and I gotta kind of go tumbling down, kind of like take a knee and kind of have to get myself back up, which gives you an opening.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and as you tumble around, I think I'm coming with the big knee, just like as you're on the ground, just trying to bring the knee into your head and stun you.
Yeah,
so classic Poe move, the pendulum.
Yeah.
But it hasn't paid off, and she may be headed for the pit.
Eleanor, did you pass control? Or are you still in control?
I'm going to go ahead and pass control.
Okay.
I'd like
I just want to check and make sure where we're the mechanics.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. I'll try to make that explicit.
So, Hot Rod, you're going to come in with the knee.
Yeah.
Then, if you think that could come into the big knee to her, does that feel more like a technical thing that you kind of practice, or is it more about showing your strength? What do you think?
Yeah. I think the knee is the setup to stun her, so I can get her into more of like a power move. Like I think I'm going for like a power bomb type thing.
Okay. So yeah, let's have you roll work to see if you can set that up and then follow through.
All right, sweet. Let's see, reroll selected. So that's 9 + 2, so that's an 11.
So yeah, you hit it. Get her knocked off her feet. Do you want 2 momentum, or do you want to gain a heat with Eleanor?
Oh, I'm gonna take one more. I'm gonna take one more heat with her, and
okay.
I'm gonna be up to 4.
Boom. The audience is loving it. The knee hits. Eleanor goes back.
Yeah.
How does that transition to this next sequence?
So like I stun her with the knee, and I think she's like still kind of hunched over, and that sets up perfectly into the power bomb, and I'm just like in the middle of the mat, just toss her to the ground, and I'm assuming you're momentarily like kind of stunned, and and this gives me Hot Rod a second to walk over to his boys, and they toss him up it's in a koozie, so you can't tell what brand it is, but it's blood heavy, and he cracks it. He takes a swig and he throws it back to them, and then he's going to like charge over, and I think while Eleanor is still kind of dazed, I'm gonna do an elbow drop or something.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just gonna like kind of like taking my time to like, I'm teaching you a lesson. You can see him being like, this didn't have to be this way. It didn't have to be this way, and like just hating it. He's just like hating every minute, every punch he's and kick he's landing on her. He's kind of hating. So I think maybe so he works her on the floor, and I feel like you probably roll out of the way at some point and finally like are like enough's enough.
And I feel like this is like when Eleanor's kind of like emotionless cold shell is actually starting to show a lot more, and you can see that like both like the strength and the experience you have, and just like the heat between us is like getting to Eleanor. She's looking a little bit scared, a lot angry, and a little desperate, right?
Yes.
So who has control over the match right now?
Well, so control it technically because Hot Rod hasn't said that he's passed it.
Sure.
Hot Rod is technically still in control until he says he passes it.
Yeah.
So
that's super great. Yeah.
So I think,
Hot Rod, how do you do this? What's the next big spot you're going to go to that we can go to a roll?
Yeah. So I think I'm just like, so I drop the elbow. I'm throwing a couple punches, like, and then I'm like standing up, and I'm like, didn't have to be like this. It didn't have to be like this. I'm gonna turn my back to her. I'm gonna like go to the turnbuckle and just like shake my head, like, and like I think I'm making myself vulnerable again for you to mess with me.
Yeah, and I am going to break the rules right now.
Okay.
Does that make sense? This is one of the anti-heroes moves. So as you kind of ham it up and go to the buckle and kind of do, you see Eleanor has like a single kind of eyeliner soaked tear kind of roll down her cheek. And from her outfit, she pulls that quill that she had been writing with in the thing. And she kind of very stealthily walks right up behind Hot Rod and kind of takes that quill and very dramatically kind of jams it right into his ribs as hard as it can.
Right in the telltale heart.
So let's pause. I want to roll back just a second.
Yes.
It sounded to me like you were hitting that put over move again.
Yeah.
And then let's roll into Eleanor's move. So let's have you resolve the put over.
Awesome.
First.
So that's 6 plus 2 is 8.
Okay. On a 7 to 9, one of you gains an audience and the other loses an audience. Your opponent chooses. Eleanor, who gains an audience, who loses an audience?
I think it makes sense that I would lose the audience at that moment because Hot Rod's the hometown hero, hamming it up, kind of like really destroy me at that moment. So I will take the drop, and Hot Rod, you can take the plus.
Hot Rod, take your audience up, and then you come in for this clear violation. Where is the referee looking at this point that you can get up there before this happens? What has distracted them, Eleanor?
That's a great question. I feel I feel like the referee might be kind of still ambiguously watching. I think it's the stealth that Eleanor pulls that the referee doesn't see anything until it's too late, right? That like circle of her arm with the quill in her hand is really what draws the referee's attention. And as fast as the ref scrambles over to try to intervene, the damage has been done.
Let's have you roll with look.
Great. So my look is 0, and I got an 8.
8. Do you want to spend momentum?
No, I think I'm going to stick with the mixed success.
Okay. So pick one. You get away with it and gain momentum, or you don't and gain a heat with the opponent.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get away with it and gain a momentum.
Okay.
Which brings my momentum to 3.
So, you do that stab. Do you sell it, Hot Rod? Do you sell that you took this hit?
Oh yeah, I'm just like I got shot with an arrow or something. Just like
cries out. The ref tries to go and see what you have in your hand, but you don't have anything in your hand now, Eleanor.
Oh yeah, it's gone.
You're like, what? What's going on?
Yeah.
And he comes, kind of breaks it apart, comes and checks on you and says, "Are you still good to go, Hot Rod? You still good to go?"
Oh, of course. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me at her.
Kind of pushes you apart, and Hot Rod, you're back in control of the match here.
Yeah. So I think I'm just Hot Rod's shaking his head, and he's walking up in grappling stance, and goes, let's just do this old school, just like I taught you. And so I think we're gonna do the grapple thing. And,
oh yeah, my arms are up. I got you braced. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the audience is expecting like Hot Rod to just toss you because he's a little bit bigger, but like you're locked in. I think you got like a lower stance, and you're kind of like doing those arm twists that that Hot Rod had been showing you. Yeah. And but again, Hot Rod breaks. I think Hot Rod is fine. Just like that's it, and I think he throws a kick to your knee and then throws you into the ropes and brings you back for a clothesline. But
awesome.
But I think once he hits you with the clothesline, he's going to kind of get down and try to put you in a submission hold. I think I'm going for sort of a let's see. I like the idea of a nice camel clutch.
Yeah.
Well, this is Detroit, so this is Iron Sheik territory.
Yeah, exactly.
That sounds like work, because that's a little technical move to get that into position. Let's see how that goes for you.
Yeah. All right. So that's an 11 plus 2. It's 13.
So once again, you will gain 2 momentum or gain a heat with your opponent.
Yeah, I'm gonna gain the momentum. I've got quite a bit of momentum.
You're still in control. Got Eleanor in this camel clutch. She is rocking. The crowd is up. They're excited.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hear from the announce table what their reaction is to this sudden turn from a DQ moment to this camel clutch.
Well, Sir David, quite a surprise here.
I cannot believe the torque that he is putting on her back. How is her spine not broken?
She's a conqueror. You could almost say she's a conqueror worm. Let's see if she can wriggle out of this one, Sir David.
Great.
Well, and as we all know, worms are invertebrates, so that may explain it.
And wriggle she does.
Yeah. Where does this go from there, Hot Rod? You're still in control.
Yeah, so I think that a single tear you can see coming down Hot Rod's eyes, and he's just like, give up, but he's slowly, I think, working, positioning Eleanor's hand to find the gouge mark in his ribs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting you in that, but you're gonna be able to get your hand right on that wound and dig a finger in or something.
I think that's a great idea. And so you can see, the audience can see my hand kind of slowly reaching around and trying to find it, and then when it does, it just goes right in, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of I probably even bend my finger back so it looks like it really goes into
yeah, exactly. And I think I don't immediately let go of the camel clutch, so I think we're both grimacing in pain, and then I think finally though, I have to let go and roll over. I'm just grabbing at the wound.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna spend a momentum to take control. Does that
absolutely
work?
Okay.
Yeah. Great. And so that kind of thing, I think you let go before I do, and so your hands spring out and my finger kind of stays there in that wound for a moment before I withdraw it and kind of stand and kind of take my very kind of solemn victory lap around you as you kind of squirm and try to deal with that pain.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And then I go right into it, right? And I think I'll ask you, or I'll ask the player. I feel like this is a moment where in the drama of the scene and now that you're crying too, I think I want to go for some actual plus real kind of hurt, right? Does that work for you?
Yeah, that definitely works.
That's great. And so the veneer of gothic horror is kind of gone, and Eleanor is now just kind of in this kind of ferocious scramble to just kind of teach Hot Rod a lesson and kind of both stick up to herself and kind of go into it, right? And so she kind of stands up and waits for you to kind of get into position, right? She's giving you that moment. What does that look like?
Yeah, so I think he's just he takes his hand away and he wipe, you can see I think there's a little bit of blood on his hand, and he kind of wipes it across his chest, and he kind of gets up on his knee. He gets up on a knee and he looks up at you, and he's just got this feral look on his face, just doesn't know what emotion he has.
And I think
and I guess it was knee, and then kind of props himself up, and he's just
yeah. And I think, no one's sure what to expect. Eleanor is kind of doing this thing where she's normally dashing in, and what she does is she abandons all kind of theatricality. She kind of takes a couple steps towards you, and while the audience may be waiting for some of one of those elaborate moves that we started with this fight with. She just literally super kicks you like as close to the jaw as possible, and she just wants to kind of knock it out.
So you want to work real stiff?
I do, and that means I roll plus real. Yes.
Yes, it does.
Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I got a 9 + 2. That's 11.
Oh, your real is 2?
Yes.
Okay. You pick 2 from the 7 to 9 on work real stiff.
Awesome. So I'm going to say that my opponent's going to lose -1, audience.
Okay.
Because you just got kind of wrecked by this.
Yeah. For sure.
Person in front of your hometown. And then I'm going to go for an injury. I'm going to say that I injured my opponent.
Oof.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for your gimmick, for the veteran, what is the injury move?
This is a great question. I'm pulling it up now. Let's see. When you get injured, check an injury box. When injured, you can pull out of any match you're booked in without repercussions, but you gain +1 momentum if you don't. Okay. Yeah.
You stay in?
Yeah. I'm staying in for sure. But I think you definitely broke my jaw.
Oh God.
Because you kicked me in the face, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
yeah. It's definitely like
probably dislocated.
Yeah, dislocated. Yeah.
Okay. And you have control. You're in a lot of pain, Hot Rod, but you have control, and she's clocked you.
Yeah. Crap. Oh, that's tough. My heart. Okay.
I can hear it beating, by the way, that heart. I can definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think
Lenore is just doing the like thump into the microphone.
You might even say it told a tale.
Yeah. You can hear from the audience, like it echoes around the arena.
Yeah, so I think that Hot Rod is very rarely like been the victim of one of these things, because most people, like, they respect and fear him enough not to try to really hurt him, and he gets up and he's like just seeing stars, and before he can even think about it, he's walking up to you, and he is just trying. He is also trying to work real stiff, and he's trying to clock you. He's just.
This is a falling out moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. So
let's have you roll real.
Okay. Let's see. So that's a 4.
Okay.
Oh man. No, that's even less because my real's -1, so that's a 3.
We can't even put you over here.
Oh no, you can, because when you put someone over, it actually boosts to the next result level.
Oh, it's not a +1.
Nope.
No, next level. Do you want to do it, or do you want me to do it?
I feel like Lenore has a very clear rooting interest in this match, so it's up to you.
Well, go for it then.
Okay. So what do you say? What is the pattern that Stuart uses to put this over? That Sheckley puts it to put it over, rather.
This is much more complicated than we initially thought. Is it possible, Lenore? Is it possible that she's actually trying to pull off the fabled raven?
Anything's possible in this dark and messed up world of ours, Nigel. All right, David.
So that's going to go to a 7 to 9.
Okay.
What is it that you want to have as your pick there?
I think the match ends in a no contest.
Oh, okay. So kind of hit that, and what is it that makes the ref like pull this apart, and what happens?
I think he connects right with her nose, and I think there's just a lot of blood. Like it's Like, I think there's just there's just a poof of blood.
And this is like the only color on Eleanor's entire person. Like everything is like very black and very pale, and so that red just kind of stands out, and everyone in the crowd can see it.
Yeah, and I think Hot Rod's like sees what he does. He's like, he's just like cursing. He's just like dropping F-bombs.
The ref comes, pulls you apart. A couple of people at the ringside come and check on Eleanor, and the ref is just like, doing the gesture. Match is over, and the crowd is like, what's going on? They've been denied closure on this. However, were either of you at Heat 4 with your opponent?
Yes, I was.
I think we both are.
Yeah,
you both you'll each gain an audience there.
Cool.
Even
Awesome.
with that, so Hot Rod, you are what they call over. Means like the crowd is loving you. You're going to get an advance because you hit audience 4.
Oh, cool.
So they will clear the ring. What does the announce table have to say for this shocking turn of events?
Well, I think it's clear, David. This play is the tragedy man.
I couldn't agree more, Lenore. But I must say, you are much more versed in the works of a certain Baltimorean than I am. What I can say about this is that I have not seen such shocking violence since Ox Baker. I cannot believe that Hot Rod would do such a thing. This is truly staggering to me. Gentlemen just do not do such things.
You'll never go broke betting on the wickedness that lurks in the hearts of even the most seemingly noble of us.
And
let's hope that this does not represent a permanent turn.
They will clear the ring, and we will cut to backstage. Eleanor, Eleanor, how much of the blood is legit?
I think it is all legit. I think this is like a legit, like we really messed each other up and kind of both lost control in this way that we're still trying to come to terms with.
And when you two get backstage, you'll see Wolf Backhouse is like, is there a problem, you two?
And Eleanor just kind of is back to her very kind of cold, emotionless state and wipes the blood kind of off her cheeks and nose and is just like, maybe ask Hot Rod.
Well, I think I saw somebody do a super kick to the jaw before I saw somebody punch somebody in the nose. That might be my imagination.
Nope, that was me.
Yeah, go get cleaned up, lady.
Okay.
Hot Rod, you should know better.
She got to me.
You're a vet. You've been around here for a long time. You've got to be a mark for these people. People got to look up to you. And if you're doing that kind of stuff, I mean, here's the thing. I don't want Nigel to think that he can get away with just anything. He's already on the edge of stuff. So, you got to chill it down.
Yeah. You're right. I just don't book us with. I don't want to fight Ellie anymore.
Well, we got the big match at the end. You just keep out of each other's way there, okay?
You got it.
Okay. And let me ask, what is your reaction to all this, Archibald? You're getting ready for your match. You saw this, and it did not go down pretty at the end there.
Yeah, so I think Archibald is sort of like, getting his he's probably doing up like his shirt and stuff before getting out there, and I think he's just going to like shake his head as the sort of two of them pass by and say, "Bloody hell, can we try and keep things professional here?"
They seem to stomp by without saying anything.
Yeah. But yeah, I think he is going to call the manager guy and say, "Look, can we cancel my regular promo and let me get up on the mic before my next match?"
Sure. He says we're getting ready to get it. We'll pull the package. Wolf says, "Yeah, you go on out there. It'd be good to get some heat out there before they get too mad." I'll tell Euro that you're getting ready. Okay.
Sure thing.
And so yeah, let's roll into that, shall we? So you're gonna walk down, walk up into the ring.
Yeah. So I think he walks up, and at the minute he's wearing sort of I said dress shirt and a waistcoat and some sort of tearaway trousers, and I think he's got kind of a pipe in one hand, and he gets up into the ring and takes hold of the mic and says, "Well, this is exactly the sort of nonsense that I want to stop in the world of wrestling. You can't just beat up a young girl like that. I've not seen a woman take a blow to the face like that since that time the actor fella was caught in that car. But these things need to be done properly with proper rules and regulations, and that's why I'm here. When I win the championship, I will ensure things are done properly in the ring, and we have no more of this sort of shenanigans, none of these underhand tactics. No, things will be done properly."
And so I think you're working the audience.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, let's have you roll with audience.
That's a 12 in total.
That's a 12. So you get 2 momentum. They're excited for this. They're excited to see what's going to happen. And we will hear from the top of the runway down. We will hear properly. I do not think that a Brit should explain what is done properly. Herr Euro knows about procedures, rules, regulations, orders, and efficiency. That is not in your, how you say, wheelhouse. And he begins walking down. If anyone is going to bring discipline, order, and balance to Gauntlet League Wrestling, it is I, Herr Euro, me. And he walks, and he's getting up into the ring there, takes off his little top coat, folds it very carefully, puts it down. What do you have to say to that?
Well, we have beaten you in 2 world wars and 1 World Cup, and we will not stand to lose it in this ring. You, sir, shall be, as the hoi polloi would say, be going down.
He stands and he says, "You still have a chance to exit the ring."
That's not the sort of behavior we believe in. No, we stand and we fight. We will fight them on the beaches, and we will fight them in the streets, and we will fight you here in this ring tonight.
So you're going to start in control of this match. You got that 10 plus. You are hot. Hero is standing there. Tell me what this first sequence looks like here.
Yeah, so likewise, he'll sort of disrobe and pass all the things off to somebody sort of dressed as a butler that will carry his things off. And I think he will start with that sort of classic, like, fists up boxing pose and come in with some jabs and stuff that sort of push Heyuro back towards the ropes. And I think there will be kind of that moment where it doesn't. It's more like almost like a sort of boxing clinch where he just comes in with a strike and then sort of grabs him and pushes him up against the ropes.
So you think you're kind of doing some work there, or are you actually leaning into your strength?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So yeah, let's have you roll with power if you're leaning into the strength. Yes, and Hero is a heel.
That's an 8 in total.
Okay. So you've got a choice. You can keep control of the match, or you can hand it off to Hero and gain a momentum.
I think that I will hand off control for the moment and take that momentum.
And Hero pushes off. He sells the hits on the rope, and then he comes around and he gets a hold of your arm. And kind of chicken wing throws you, and then he comes in, and he's kind of a technical wrestler as you would expect, and he comes in and he kind of gets you down to the ground, and he's got your arm and he's kind of working it hard. He's already hit that arm once, and he's working it, kind of pulling it, trying to get the submission on that, and looking to see if you're going to tap out. And you don't. How do you get out of this?
Yeah, so I think as he's sort of bringing the arm, as he's bringing the arm in, sort of pulling back, I think that I kind of wrap my legs back around his and sort of flip us over, so that sort of I'm on the top. And kind of pull my arm out from his grip, and I think we carry on sort of wrestling on the floor. So I think that sort of reverse it and probably pull him into a similar sort of move and start pulling the submission move on him.
9, it's keeping his arm up so he's not tapping out. So yeah, you do that. What's a big spot that you're going for? Where is it that you want to do the big that you kind of worked out here with Hero?
Yeah, so I think what it's going to be is that I think I pull him up. I think I pull him like back up to his feet, and sort of throw him into one of the turnbuckles. And I think that's where I'm going to sort of come in and go for sort of a gut punch above the belt, obviously, and then sort of fling him back up and over my shoulder, and sort of start to sort of spin him around.
That sounds like power.
Yeah, sure thing.
Okay.
That's a 9. I think I will. I think I will spend the 1 momentum on that to bump it up to the 10, and then catch that in for 2 momentum.
Exactly. That is the payoff there. So you're in control of the match as you spin Harry around and fling him off. He hits the turnbuckle. Wind is knocked out of him. He's trying to get up again. What do you do?
I'm going to head over to him and say, I'm a fair man, Herr Euro. I'll give you one last chance to get up on your feet, and I will hold out my hand to him to sort of pull him back up onto his feet for another time.
Let's have you roll your sportsmanship.
Sure thing. Just losing my tabs again, and that's a 10, I believe.
Wow. So you can gain momentum. You can gain heat. And or you can pick who attacks who.
Yeah. So I think that I will. I'll gain some heat with him.
Okay.
I don't know whether that will become relevant, and I think.
So you'll be at a 2, we'll say, because he's a heel and he's always considered opposite to you. So
yeah, I will. I'll bring him back on. And I think the other one is I'll choose to pick to get who attacks, and I will basically take control again.
Okay.
And yeah, I think I'm. I'm going to sort of go in with a couple of strikes again to sort of batter him down. Before pulling him into sort of my aim is to sort of go and pull him into like the final submission hold as he's sort of woozy and
absolutely. So you are booked to win, because this is kind of an interstitial match, because you're going to be in a 3-man match in just a bit. So you can roll for your finisher on him.
Sure thing.
And your finisher is rolled flat, but you can spend momentum to boost it up.
Well, I only got a 6 there, so I will definitely be boosting that. I'm just going to have a quick look at my move. Now, I tell you what, I'll spend all my momentum to finish it clean.
Ooh.
And gain the audience there.
Yeah. So what is it? What is it that you do that the audience just loves? What is it? What is it that you put him in that they are cheering?
Yeah, so I think, like I said, it's that combination of that sort of like his finish sort of is this, like he does the sort of 1-2 punch that brings them down to their knees, and then I think it's this is where my lack of my lack of wrestling knowledge fails me, but pulls him into sort of like a really sort of complicated like submission hold, and sort of gets behind him, sort of one knee in the small of his back, sort of an arm pulled back, and yeah, it's sort of yeah.
And then he taps out, and the audience loves it. And what do you say when you finally let him go?
I'll say that's the last of your meddling. I hope we'll see you around here. We know what dastardly schemes you have up your sleeves, sir. Yes, we do.
You'll regret the loss of efficiency. As he goes out of the ring there. We're going to take a break. We're going to take 5 here. When we come back, we're going to check in backstage, and then we are going to put Nightshade versus Nigel, starting as a 2-man. But then, at some point, that's when the Marquis of Queensberry is going to come in, not as a run-in, but as a scheduled switch-up. So that is the next event on our thing. We're going to take 5. So we'll do that.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. So they clear out after that. Probably got some other matches that out there. They probably have the Padishah Professional Wrestling brings Skunk Ape out. Does a match against Serious Business. Kind of a fan favorite thing here. And while that is going on, does anybody have anything they want to do? Any scenes they want to call backstage? This is one of the things I always check in on. If there's a long running campaign, these are the kind of moments where you would check in with the other characters, build up things like that. May not be necessary in these kinds of situations.
I think I maybe want to talk to creative.
Okay. So Robbie Reyes is creative. He's also the social media person, and he's back there kind of checking the metrics. He'd be like, "Hey, Nigel."
So, what kind of match you got us planned for me and Nightshade?
Well, this was going to just check in. It's up to Nightshade whether he wants to do the plank match or not. I was going to go and check in with him while this is going on.
You want me to go with?
Yeah. And he grabs up his clipboard. He's young and he looks younger than he is, but he's been creative here because of his social media experience. And Alexi, where do they find Captain Nightshade?
Yeah, we're the wrestling is going on in a venue that's often just a theater. Is that right?
It's like a convention center. So there's all other
okay.
kinds of places and rooms and things like that.
Okay. Oh, can we say there's a prop room?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because I think he's
they do children's theater here.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, so he's like in the prop room, kind of like one leg up on like a treasure chest prop, in like a contemplative pose, planning for the match ahead.
And Nightshade, what is your wrestler's real name?
Amos.
And you'll see Robbie Reyes, the creative director, comes in and goes, Amos. And he's got Nigel with him. I wanted to check with you. We've got it set up. We wanted to see if you and Nigel wanted to do the full-on special match.
The plank match.
That's the one, yes?
Yes. That's in my contract, isn't it, Reyes?
We're backstage.
It is. It is in your contract. Okay, well, I'll go tell the grips to go get that ready to roll out there. Nigel, and Robbie goes to leave and leave you two to discuss matters.
Hey, Robbie.
Yeah.
Let's make it a hardcore plank match.
Fair enough. Period weapons or usual things?
Yeah, let's throw the kind of silly stuff under the wrestling ring that should never be under a wrestling ring because it has no purpose being there.
Okay.
You know,
so the usual stuff.
Yeah, barbed wire baseball bats, kendo
Okay.
sticks,
All right.
trash cans.
Don't forget the saber.
We spent the good money on the breakaway sabers, so yes, we have those.
And the cannon.
We don't have the cannon this week because it's hard to transport from town to town. So we do have the anchor, though.
Let me down again, you bilge rat.
I don't know exactly what that means, but yes, there's some other things. We'll see you. And he scatters.
Man, go easy on Robbie. He's a kid.
He's got to learn. If he's to be captain of this here promotion, we can't be feeding him only the softest of victuals. He's got to learn to take his hard tack.
Right. I can see that nothing that I'm saying is getting through. So let me try this.
Are you scurvy landlubber? I'ma make you walk the plank before I hang you up with the rigging on the mainsail.
There
Gee,
we go.
Stuff clear.
And now we're talking. You can blow me down, but let me tell you this.
I'll blow you down 40 fathoms deep.
I don't think you understand the scale of a fathom, to be honest.
I'm gonna cut there on that line. Anything else, or should we roll out to the promos and all that?
I think Hot Rod is just gonna go up to whatever locker room where Eleanor is. He's gonna stand outside, and he's gonna, put one hand on. And he goes, I don't know what happened out there, but what you did wasn't cool, and what I did was Bush League, and whatever bad blood there is between us, let's settle it outside the ring. We got a job to do.
And Eleanor kind of takes a breath, and you can tell that she agrees. She's like, absolutely. Yeah. She's like, that wasn't who I wanted to be inside the ring. And, candidly, you've taught me better.
I get it. I get it. I'm the overbearing second father you never asked for, and maybe I projected things that I didn't need to, and whatever. Just get this night over with, and we'll move on.
And she just nods and says, "Yeah, let's just keep it going." And kind of like very little energy, just kind of goes back to cleaning herself up and kind of getting ready for whatever's coming next.
Yeah. I'm imagining like he's walking away, like trying to like fit his jaw back in. And
And she's still kind of clocking her nose and seeing like how she can adjust her makeup to kind of cover what's happening to her face.
Yeah. And as I walk away, I'm like, this was a good kick.
And she's like, yeah, I'm sorry about the quill.
It's okay.
So let's start with Captain Nightshade. Captain Nightshade, what is your promo like? I mean, is it an interview? Is it you talking to the camera in the locker room? Is it a pre-recorded package?
I think it's got to be pre-shot because I think it opens with like a storm at sea.
Okay.
And then like the kind of, like silhouetted by the lightning is Captain Nightshade's looming figure. This is a match with Nigel.
Yeah.
All right. I think he's saying, now listen here, ye scallywag. I am going to claim that belt so I can return the rubies to the sea and free myself of this curse. But fighting you for this, that will be a pleasure. Because you see, what you need to learn, Nigel, is that to pay for a lifetime of evil deeds can take more than a lifetime. And the devil's got his claws in you deep, my boy, and it may be painful to get them out, but never ye fear. Captain Nightshade is here, and we will rip you from the jaws of hell if it's the last thing we ever do.
Nice. Please roll look. Let's see how the audience buys into this.
Okay, that's an 8, and my look is a 1, brings it to a 9.
Okay.
And I don't have momentum to spend at the moment, is that right?
You'll start with 1 momentum.
Interesting. I'm going to spend that momentum to push this from a 9 to a 10.
Okay. So yeah, the audience digs it. You're going to get that momentum back, and then you get additionally to pick one from the 7 to 9 list on Cut a Promo.
Oh, what a good call! All right, 1 momentum, and then I pick. I'll gain a heat with Nigel, definitely.
That is the smart call. The storm kind of fades away. Nigel, what does your promo look like?
I just walk out on stage with a mic.
Okay, classic. They've already got the gangplank there. They've got the water. You can see they've put some things underneath the stage. So
what are you picturing the gangplank looking like? Like, is it dangling above the stage, or is it coming off of the main ring over water?
I imagine that they have some kind of ladder contraption with a plank on it. It's more a diving board than anything. But you have to kind of work around the ladders in the middle there.
All right.
So Nigel, house lights come down, the spotlight hits you. What are you saying?
Are you filthy gutter snipe? I be ready to unleash the Kraken.
I can't. I just can't. I cannot with this. Oh my God. You guys are actually buying into this? Listen. He ain't Captain Nightshade. Dude's name is Amos. Almost like Thermos. And this is what you want? You don't want you want a guy who comes out here in a costume and puts on a fake accent? You want that instead of some kind of technical prowess or some kind of I guess it's entertainment if you're like 5, but really this is what you want? If this is what you want, I got to say, this is the worst town I've ever been in. I mean, I'm in Ann Arbor, and it makes sense that this is the worst town I've ever been in because the initials of Ann Arbor are AA, and y'all need to go to rehab if you think this is what's good.
So, you're going to get cheap heat. So give yourself a momentum for insulting the audience. And then in the town, let's have you roll break kayfabe.
All righty, let's see what comes up with this. All righty. So let's see. That's a 6 plus 1 for real is 7. I've got 3 momentum, so I could push it up to a 10.
You could get that audience.
Oh, but don't you want those downsides on the 7 through 9 though?
I'll just, you know what? I'll take a heat with Nightshade.
So that's not one of the choices.
Oh, wait a minute.
Kayfabe.
On 7 to 9?
Blur the line, gain 2 momentum, and pick one.
God damn it. My bad.
That's okay.
Okay. 2 momentum, pick one. You know, Okay. I'm just going to burn all three of or actually the match hasn't started yet, so I can't burn those 2 momentum.
No, you can always burn momentum. Because it's whenever it starts, whenever we go in with the promos and stuff, the match is considered to have started.
All right. I'll burn all three and I'll take an audience.
Okay. This is a crowd of college students from U of M, as I mentioned earlier, have come ironically, and they love it. They love it. They're absolutely into it, and they are hooting and hollering, and there's the sound of crumpled beer cans flying through the air and such, and all those ones that were brought down by a hot rod, so they are excited. Nightshade, he's already in the ring, so tell me what your entrance looks like.
Yeah, I think there's like inexplicably a Jolly Roger like being held up, and then Nightshade just kind of comes smashing through it.
Uh-huh.
Right? And the entrance music that starts playing is shiver me timber, shiver my soul, yo ho heave ho, and there's it's a pirate shtick, also like a little bit of a supernatural shtick. So like people who are fans or are in the know are like adding in like kind of underlying like creepy ghost noises to cheer him on as he's charging to mount the stage.
Absolutely, yeah. It's probably a close to Halloween promotion, so people got a $1 off if they wore a mask.
Yeah,
kind of thing. So
absolutely.
That's glow in the dark sticks and all that. So yeah, you'll come down.
Can I even say that there's like some black light on the way, so that as Captain Nightshade passes through it, he has like the
Oh, absolutely.
Some of think of like skull and skeletal designs that show up in the black light for a moment.
Perfect. Who, before we get rolling too far into this, who is on the announce desk for this one? Zach, Sean, either of you want to do it?
Yeah, okay. Why not?
All right. Zach, what is your announcer's name?
His name is Bubba.
Bubba.
He goes, it's Bubba Johnson.
Bubba Johnson on the announce desk. Is there anything you want to say before we get rolling into this match?
Oh boy, we got ourselves a lively one here. Will Nigel walk the plank, or will Captain Nightshade sink into the briny depths? Stay tuned to find out.
And Nightshade, you get up, you're in there, kind of step to it, and you're in there as well. In the other corner, I think that Nigel, you're still, kind of basking in the glow here from the audience reaction. Nightshade has some momentum, so Nightshade's actually going to start in control of this match. Nightshade, how do you start this out?
Yeah. I think I'm coming in close, and growling. All right, Mr. Stewart, let's see how you fare on the briny main. And I'm going to do the old ship's wheel move to try to kind of grab his leg and spin him around.
Oh, okay. So going in hot right there.
Yeah.
Do you think that's more about showing off your character, or do you think it's a power move or a technical move? What do you think?
Ooh, I think it could be kind of technical. Yeah.
Okay. Then let's have you go ahead and roll with work.
All right. talked myself into a lower stat, but
There you go.
that's what you do. 8 on the board. My work's -1 makes it a 7.
Okay. So you kind of go in, grab, start to do that turn, and you have a choice. You can keep control, or you can hand control off to Nigel and gain momentum.
Nice. I will hand the control over and gain the momentum.
Okay. So Nigel, when he does that wheel, how do you break away from that and get control?
Well, he actually just turned it into a flip, so I landed on my feet.
Okay.
And I quickly roll out under the bottom rope and crawl under the ring. And everybody there knows I'm digging for something, but they don't know what. And I emerge from the other side of the ring, behind the captain, with my old trusty favorite kendo stick.
The same one that you struck him with before?
Well, no, that one broke.
Oh, fair enough.
I mean, I wore it out on him. And that's the thing with kendo sticks. They're not meant to last long in a wrestling ring. And I roll in behind him, tee up, kendo stick right across the back of both knees.
Okay. So this is your big spot. Let's have you roll your hardcore violence.
Is that one of the match moves?
Yes, it is. In the third column next to the wrestling.
Got it.
That is 7 on the dice. Third column next to wrestling.
So on a 7 to 9, crowd pops. Your opponent gains control, but you get to pick one. Injury,
Right.
momentum, or heat.
Let me see what the heat is here. You know what? I'll just take another heat.
Okay, it's always a good call. So Nightshade, you're kind of starting to move to follow, then comes up behind, hits you across the back of the knees with the kendo stick. Do you sell it?
Yeah, I'll sell it. And like I'm a big dude, right? I am the monster, so it's a big fall, right? And the whole the like ladder shakes, right? The gangplank's rattling from me hitting the mat. Yeah.
What happens next? You now have control of the match.
I have control. I think I'm gonna use the signature face move. Because I spend 2 momentum, yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna stand up for something I believe in. So I think like that's like I hit the ground and then like you see like one hand then another like gripping onto the ropes as Nightshade is like pulling himself back up and kind of intoning as he does so. What you need to learn, Mr. Stewart, is that the evils that we do can haunt us from beyond even the end of our days. I have walked this earth and sailed these seas, and every drop of blood that I've shed has had to be paid back. And you two will learn the hard way what it
Blah,
takes.
blah, blah.
What it takes to be a man of honor. As I like, so I will. I'll take an additional heat with you from the babyface thing. And do I stay in control?
You keep control because there's no roll on that one, so you keep control.
Then I'm like trying to like grab Nigel and just kind of toss him up onto the gangplank. So
think that's a feat of strength?
Oh, totally a feat of strength.
Then roll with power.
Yeah. Ooh. 5. Power is 1. That's only a 6.
Now you could spend momentum to boost it up to a 7 if you want.
Yeah. I'll spend momentum booster to a 7. That seems appropriate.
Okay. So grabs, goes to throw you up onto that ladder. You, Nigel, get to pick one of those results from feat of strength under the basic moves. The 7 and 9 there.
I think the audience notices
that I'm straining to do this.
Yeah, that it's not clean. That it's an act. They're kind of picking up on what I said in my promo.
Yeah, so it does toss you up onto the ladder, get you kind of in that position, but the audience definitely notices it, and it took a toll on him, and you have control then, Nigel.
Well, it's a good thing I still had my kendo stick. I'm just going to jump off the gangplank and hit him across the back with it.
Okay. Does that feel to you like another hardcore? Or are you doing that a little bit more restrained? What are we talking?
I think it's hardcore.
Okay.
There's not a lot of subtlety in Nigel's repertoire.
That does seem true.
That is an 8 on the 7 on the dice plus 1, so that's an 8.
Okay. Crowd pops. Nigel, you're going to pass control back to the captain, but you get to pick one of those results.
All righty. And if I remember correctly, one of them is take a heat.
Yep.
Well, I'll just take a heat.
That makes sense.
Puts us both at 4 heat with each other, I believe.
Yeah, Captain Nightshade. Comes down, hits you across with what's left of that kendo stick. You kind of stagger back, and you still have control.
Control's gone to me. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Man, he's getting on my nerves here. Belay your carousing, Stuart, and face me like a man. I will. Oh boy, I think I want to work the audience here.
Okay, tell me how you're working the audience. What is it you're doing to pump them up for you?
Yeah. I think I kind of like. Ooh. Just like crouch down at the edge of the ring, reach underneath, and pull out the pirate saber from below the ring, and I will say, "No more of this play acting and dilly dallying. You and me, a duel by the pirate code." And I like raise the saber and try to get the audience in on a by the pirate code cheer.
Excellent. Let's have you roll. What's your audience right now?
1.
So roll with a +1.
All right. Oh no, it's a 6. Let me double check. I lose them. I'd lose them if I take the loss here.
You want to spend that momentum?
No, I'll take the I'll take the miss here, because the way we've talked about this crowd, it's not obvious they're going to be receptive to the gimmick, right?
Plus, I think that is the point at which we hear Archibald. This is your moment now to enter and mess things up. So how is it that you come in?
So I think there's a sudden over the tannoy. There's the sudden rousing strains of Rule Britannia playing, and I think because this is a used as a theatre, sometimes it has like a proper what you call it, above stage bit, and there's like a little makeshift balcony up there, and the spotlight comes onto it, and Archibald is up there with the microphone and says, Well, I don't know if the two of you have been informed, but Britannia rules the waves. And I am quite tired of these shenanigans that you're up to here. Your little toys and props. I'd wager neither of you can give me a real match. But let's see if I can't teach you after all. This looks to me less like the Battle of Trafalgar and more like a bit of Rambam and Concertina. And I think with that, there's kind of a rappel line drops down from the balcony. He kind of swarms down it to the ring.
Let's have you work the audience.
That's an 8.
Okay, now choice: you can gain momentum, or you can start here and control the match. Otherwise, I'm going to pass it back to one of them.
Ooh, yeah. I think it makes sense if at this point I take control of the match.
Okay. Who do you go after?
So, I think it's got to be. The captain, as he was trying to rouse the crowd. So, I think I drop down into the ring and say, "Well, Captain, I don't know about the pirate code, but I think it's time we fight by Queensberry rules." And I think he's going to sort of go in with sort of a flurry of jabs, and I think he's going to sort of grab the saber from the captain's hands and throw it across the ring, probably landing coincidentally near Nigel. But that won't be a problem, I'm sure.
What is the big spot? What is it that you're gonna do then after you knock?
So yeah, I think after I come in, after I disarm the captain, I think I'm going to sort of keep hold of his wrist and sort of pull him around, pull the arm behind his back, spin him. I think I'm going to go to sort of run him into the turnbuckle.
Does that seem like power?
Yeah, that works for me.
Let's have you roll it.
And you're probably the only wrestler in this particular staple who's got kind of the size to do this really plausibly on Captain Nightshade.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Though I only get a 5.
Well, let's check in with the announce table.
Yeah, we're gonna put that over.
So what does Bubba Johnson say to make that look pretty good?
Oh boy, we got Sir Francis Drake dropping in to plunder this booty.
So kind of smack in, doesn't land exactly like you wanted there, Archibald, but you have a choice. Do you want to keep control or you want to hand it off? You're going to gain a momentum.
Yeah, I'm going to hand off control and take a momentum there.
Okay. So control will now pass to the person who had it furthest back, Nigel. Those two are locked up in the corner. Boom. Hits that. Nightshade's kind of pinned a little bit by Archibald. What do you do?
I'm sitting on the top turnbuckle, eating a fan's popcorn that I grabbed out of the audience, just watching. Hop down, pick up the sword, walk over, and I'm going to try, just try to get Archibald's attention a little bit.
Okay. And how do you plan to get that attention?
Kind of peer around, so I'm at least in his peripheral vision. Kind of tilt my head up, like a little nod, like, how's it going? You fancy an assist from a fellow Englishman? I mean, that is one thing we have in common. What do you say we shake on it and we deal with this pirate, and then you and I can have a real match?
That sounds like an eminently sensible plan, dear boy.
Let us shake on it. And I actually do put out my hand and do and offer a legitimate handshake.
Okay. I will also shake hands, and I will hit my sportsmanship move.
Okay. Trigger. Roll with real.
That's a 6, which I think it's too fun to spend the momentum on that. So on a botch, they get to attack me before our hands touch and gain 2 momentum.
So what does that look like, Nigel?
Oh God, that just threw everything out.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it, but the rules kind of dictate that I have to. So, Archibald, I'm sorry, you're taking the pommel of that cutlass you kicked over to me right in your solar plexus. I'm just going to hit you square in the stomach with it.
Let's have you roll. Would you consider this hardcore violence, or are you pulling it at all?
It's using a weapon.
Okay. Let's have you roll.
That's an 8, 9 with the real stat, and I have precisely no momentum.
Okay. So that means the captain is going to gain control, and you get to pick one.
Okay, so Roll's question here.
Yeah.
This is effectively a 3-way match.
Uh-huh.
What happens if I have 4 heat with everybody in it?
If you have 4 heat with at least one wrestler, you will gain an audience at the end of the match. So it doesn't matter how many you do.
Okay.
All you have to have is at least one.
I'll take 2 momentum then.
Okay. Captain, you were pinned a little bit, kind of got pressed on, but then Nigel comes up and cold strikes Archibald there, giving you an opening. What do you do?
Yeah. I'm straightening up and kind of growling out. You think your letter of marque makes you so much better, but you're just a privateer, and you'll sink like any of the others. And I'm gonna go for Archibald to try and gotta get that gangplank working. So he's going up on the plank and coming down hard on it.
Okay.
Probably requires a feat of strength. Oh yeah, what do you think?
I was going to say, I think Eleanor is by the ring with a phone, kind of working your social media right now. I think she's like giving you a thumbs up and like, let's get this going, right? So there's going to be a big move for you if you can pull it off.
Nice. So do you think this is a power to get him up into position?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So let's have you roll with power.
Oh no. This one's only a 4.
Okay.
Eleanor quietly puts the phone away just very briefly and turns back around.
I'm assuming you don't have 3 momentum you want to spend.
Let me check on that. I have 2 momentum. So even with that doesn't. So I guess the question is anyone going to put me over, or have we already seen?
Has already put you over, I believe.
Oh man, then I've taken the miss.
You get countered. You give 1 momentum to Archibald, and they immediately take control of the match. What goes wrong, Captain Nightshade?
Oh, I think it's not a high enough lift, right? It doesn't work, and the ladder and the gangplank come clattering down.
Absolutely. Archibald, you get that momentum, sweet, delicious momentum. What do you do?
Yes. So I think as the I kind of get caught on sort of land on the ladder and it starts to fall. I think I'm going to leap off of the ladder as it comes down and go for a kind of flying clothesline type move on Archibald to bring him down to the mat.
Ooh. That sounds like power, taking the legit strength, right?
Yeah, sure thing.
Let's have you roll.
That's a 7.
Okay. You can keep control, or you can give it up and gain a momentum.
I think I'm going to pass it off again. It seems more fun in this 3-way shenanigans. So
Archibald leaps, clotheslines, takes Captain Nightshade to the mat. They're both down, both a little stunned. Nigel, your opportunity.
Well, while all this was going on, I realize this may shock all of you. I was under the ring.
Nope.
And I found a metal trash can, which I have now brought into the ring, and recognizing that Nightshade just is not doing that great tonight. I put it on Archibald, covering his head and shoulders. So it's like his upper torso is now in a metal trash can in the middle of the ring. And I climb up to the top turnbuckle and proceed to do a huge frog splash onto the trash can.
So does that seem like you demonstrating your character or your gimmick through action? Or is it a big sequence? You want to roll with heat?
Now, let's say it's demonstrating the character, because I'm showing absolutely no regard for anyone's body in this.
Right.
Least of all mine. Who would? This is not going to be comfortable for Archibald. And
you're not working real stiff, are you? You're not trying to
I'm not. Hey, nobody's really done anything bad.
Okay.
It's not like nobody risked getting anybody injured. So no, there's no reason. There's no reason.
Let's have you roll with look then.
And that is a 7. Okay. And what is my look is 0. So that's a 7.
Okay. So boom, you come down. Do you keep control after you do that hit, or do you hand it off?
Ooh.
Hand it off and gain momentum.
Yeah, I'll just take the momentum. So let's go to 3 momentum for that.
Captain Nightshade, now your 2 opponents, they're fighting each other. You get a chance to get back up off the mat. You've knocked down your gangplank. What's your next move?
I am on the ropes, metaphorically. But I'm feeling like I'm losing the audience. The face thing's not going over. I want to recover that saber because it sounds like it's clattered to the ground here. And go for a dirty blow on Nigel while he's otherwise occupied.
It is a hardcore violence match. There's no DQ on this.
Yeah.
Let's have you roll with real.
Yeah, I'm doing shoot kill.
That's right.
Really going after someone in or out of the ring. Well, That's a 5.
That is a 5. How much momentum do you have?
I have 1 momentum.
In that case, on a botch, if you're in one,
the match is stopped. How does it work? How do I get disqualified if we've got the hardcore stipulation? Am I breaking some other rule here?
Well, that is a good question here.
May I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Legit injury, referee has to stop the match so that Nigel can get medical attention. Throws up the X.
Okay. So someone gets injured. So let me ask you this, Captain Nightshade, do you injure yourself or do you injure Nigel?
Puckett, are you okay with being on the receiving end of the injury?
I suggested it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're the one with the weapon. Granted, given how things have been going for you, injuring yourself is totally in keeping with how your night's been going. But I am totally okay with you injuring me. That's totally fine. Go for it.
Yeah, I think I injure you. I think I take a swing with the saber and it just it cuts too deep on your back or shoulder or something.
And the ref sees that and throws up the X and puts a stop to the match. And Captain, you're going to lose an audience.
Yeah. That's serious. That puts me at audience 0.
Oh, that brings it to a stop here. Everyone's kind of stop and you're kind of standing around and they have to kind of bring the house lights up and clear Archibald and clear Nigel. They go and get the first aid people. And they take everybody backstage and they start playing the intermission music to kind of fill space here for a few minutes. And we'll cut to backstage. And Wolf Backhouse is everybody fucking insane today? Captain. My captain.
Backhouse.
What was that?
Mr. Backhouse.
Thank you. Go sit down. I need everybody to go get seated. I'm going to throw a couple of the ringers in there to kill some time right now. Everybody sit. We've still got a big match. I need to go and see if Nigel's up to be in there. So I could trust that none of you are going to hurt each other back here.
Aye.
Turns to you, says, Archibald, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just don't want to take any bloody injuries out here in fucking America.
Point taken. Nods. Nigel, Wolf Backhouse, and we'll come over to where you're at. You've got essentially the backstage doctor there. And Wolf says, Nigel, are you okay?
Ask this guy. He's the one who's going to have to staple me or stitch me up or whatever he's got to do.
And you'll hear that ka-chunk, ka-chunk, because they do the plastic staples there. Now I'm asking how you're feeling.
I'm feeling like I want to get a barbed wire baseball bat and go to work on Nightshade for real. But that's unprofessional, isn't it?
It is. He made a slip there. That was not.
I'd say that was a slip, more of a stab.
Dude, okay. He said, there's a big difference between, say, for example, someone setting you up and kicking you in the jaw, and making a mistake in the ring. it's the thing, you've done enough hardcore, you know how this works.
I have.
Things can go wrong.
Yeah, they can. But that sword was all supposed to be a breakaway sword.
That is on us then.
Look, you want me to go back out there for this match tonight?
That's what I'm asking.
You know, I will go anywhere and I will do just about anything. You got to talk to the doc and see if it's safe. I mean, if these stitches pop open, I'm going to be bleeding over everybody out there. You know, if you're okay with that, I bleed a lot. I bleed almost every day. I'm okay with that. You got to ask them. You got to ask the other wrestlers in the ring. You got to make sure the doc is okay with it.
And he looks at the doc, and the doc says it's up to him.
All
and
right.
Wolf turns to you and says, my druthers are to bench you, but if you want to go out there, you can.
I will go out there because that's the way that's how it's booked. I give you my word. I am not going to retaliate. I'm not going to get receipts tonight. I'm going to do this as I'm going to play it as straight as I possibly can. But there's going to come a time in the not too distant future when he's going to be picking some teeth out of the ring. We square on that?
I wish you wouldn't tell me these things.
Listen, I am just being, what's the word you Yanks use? Transparent?
All right, go get washed up. We're getting ready for the next round.
All right.
And Wolf comes around to each of you. Said, Nightshade, we're going to be doing the King of the Hill match, the hard holder match. Are you good to go in?
Ship shape.
Okay. Nigel says he's cool for tonight.
Glad to hear it.
Okay. Archibald, comes to you. You good to go in, or you wanna do the announce desk?
No, it's fine. I'll run it, just as long as everyone keeps their fucking cool.
I'm having that conversation right now. Comes and tracks down you, Hot Rod. Hot Rod.
Yeah, boss.
Everything good?
Everything's hunky dory.
If I put you in this last match with Eleanor, am I going to regret that?
We're good. We're professionals.
Okay.
A little slip up, but we're professionals.
All right. Okay. Finally comes to where you're at, Eleanor. Eleanor, we had a little accident in the last match.
I saw. She's really into it.
Yeah. We're getting ready for the hard holder match. Are you okay wrestling with Hot Rod?
She says, I'm more than okay. I am totally ready for this, boss.
When you say totally ready, is that the totally ready of you're going to be professional in the ring and not injure him?
Yes,
okay.
She says with a question mark.
Okay. Just be careful, okay? We've had enough injuries tonight that I would really rather nobody else go to the hospital. Or like have to get cut from the roster.
I get it. And I agree. We have had enough injuries tonight.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to go and get everything set. And he will head out. And they clear the ring, and they get things set. They had a couple of minor things, and they are going to the main event. It is called the Hard Holder match. It is a King of the Hill match. 10 wrestlers in the ring fighting for control of the hard hold. This uses the special match rule, which you will find there on the special match tab. It is the middle one. Basically, someone starts as King of the Hill, and they make that roll if they're up top. If you're challenging for it, you roll the lower of the two there. We will figure out who is in there in just a moment. But let's tell you, here are the other 5 wrestlers who are in the ring. El Toro, Typhoon Bale, Skunk Ape, Rattler Queen, and Terminatrix are the other. No, we have not seen how the other PC versus PC matches were booked, because none of those bookings have been revealed. We'll see what happens with this one. Essentially, there's no promos, there's no setup. They get everybody down into the ring, and they've got the ladder from the previous match as essentially it's the hard hold. You want to get up on that. The timer starts at a 10 and then counts down. So let's look and see. Right now, I believe that our person with the highest audience is Hot Rod.
Oh yeah, big
Hot Rod. You are going to start in control of the hill, and you're gonna tell me what happens then. Also remember that if you want, you can always work the audience. It cedes control, but it's a way to get more momentum and things like that. So those possibilities are still on the table. So 10 people in the ring, they ring the bell. All hell breaks loose. What do we see you do, Hot Rod?
Oh yeah. So So Hot Rod is just going to. He's just reveling in this because he's embarrassed from how the match went earlier, and he's just taking it out on everyone around him. Like just a lot of haymakers, a lot of just square kicks to the abdomen, a lot of elbows. He's not super mobile, but like in his area, he's just wailing on anyone close to him. And he's taking a lot of punches, but he's just like kind of looks like he's enjoying it.
So does that seem like power? I mean, are you just using power on this?
Yeah, definitely.
Then let's have you roll. Those of you who still have momentum, don't forget, I spend momentum to interrupt.
All right. Okay. Let's see. So that's a 6 plus -1. So that's a 5. So I'm going to spend, I'm going to spend 2 momentum to bring that to a 7.
Okay, so on a 7 and 9, you maintain. Creative takes the timer down, and you pick one. Keep control of the hill, but you'll give a challenger control of the match. You're dumped off the hill. Choose who dethrones you and give them control of the match and gain a heat with them.
Let's see. I'm going to keep control of the hill, but I will give a challenger control of the match.
Who do you want to hand that off to?
That's a great question. I think I'm going to hand it off to Nigel. I think he's got this big cut on his back. I think the audience wants to see him.
Nigel, we still have Hot Rod up in control of the hill, and now the focus of the match is on you. What do you do?
Quick rules question.
Yeah.
Finish the well, such as it was, the previous match finished with Captain Jade and I having 4 heat on each other. We increase our audience now, correct?
Your audience would go up, yes.
All right, and then we reset heat to 0, correct?
No.
We maintain that heat.
Yeah, that heat will maintain. Heat will reset to 0 when you finish a feud.
Okay.
Yeah. So yes, technically, yes, you're going to gain another audience from this match.
All right. So we both increase our audience by 1 for the previous match.
Yep.
Lexi might want to do that. Right.
I did. That's why I'm at 1 and not 0.
Yeah.
I was down at 0 as a consequence of that shoot kill going wrong.
Okay. You know, just because obviously Nigel doesn't have the sense that God gave a goat, he's going to challenge.
Okay. So tell me about your technique for challenging for the hill.
I think I'm going to do I think it's time to throw Hot Rod into the ropes with an Irish whip, follow him in close with a very hard lariat.
Oof. Does that feel like work or power to you?
You know, in terms of my stats, it's irrelevant.
Okay.
I think this is actually Nigel trying to work an actual wrestling move, which is new. Kind of.
Let's have you roll work.
Seven minus 1, and I'll spend a momentum to keep it at 7.
Okay, you mix it up good. I click the timer down by 1 and you pick one. Someone else sabotages your valiant climb up the hill. You gain a heat with them and give them control of the match. You need to work with someone, choose another wrestler to become the hard holder, but retain control.
What do you think about Eleanor becoming the new hard holder? Thoughts?
She's down for it.
Oh yeah.
How would that look? How does she? I'm trying to picture like all the chaos that's going on right now.
How does she help you get Hot Rod off that hill?
I think that I don't quite get enough of that lariat, and it staggers him. Yeah. And she comes in low with a chop block and just takes him out at the knees.
Yeah, right. And this is a silly question. Is this an actual hill or are we just in a ring?
It's a ladder. Yeah.
Great. So we kind of like, and as Hot Rod falls down, we kind of, our eyes catch for a moment as I start climbing up.
Okay. So yeah, now Eleanor's up on the hill as the timer's counting down. It's the last person when whoever is at there when that clock ticks down. You still have control of the match though, Nigel.
I'm going to look over to Archibald.
Okay.
Do you trust me this time? There's no weapons around.
I'm willing to give a man a second chance, by all means.
Quite sporting of you. What do you think about taking out Captain Nightshade?
Yes, I wouldn't mind giving that scurvy dog a good kicking.
All right. Gotta stagger. So Nigel is again going to do something wildly uncharacteristic of him.
Okay.
And attempt an actual wrestling move.
All right.
And I think Nigel's going to try, as silly as this sounds, a collar and elbow tie-up. Just locking up with Captain Nightshade. to distract him. Well, Archibald proceeds to do something probably at least somewhat semi-devious and underhanded. What do you think that is?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it might just be I'm just trying to think what would make sense in the. Yeah, I'll think something.
Like crawl behind him, push forward, and he just goes over basically like a schoolboy prank almost.
Yeah, something like that sounds
Are
good.
you tabletopping Captain Nightshade?
Yes.
Why not?
Let me ask you this: do you want to spend the 2 momentum on your heel move to try and knock Captain Nightshade out of the ring?
Not because I don't know the booking yet. I don't know who's supposed to win. So I mean, I'm actually, I told Wolf I was going to play it by the book. I'm going to play this one by the book. I mean, if it was an NPC, no problem. But yeah, this time we're just making it look good, I think.
Okay. So I think that what this ends up being is, since you guys aren't challenging for the hill and you're kind of doing this collective work, I think one of you, I think particularly, let's have you, Nigel, roll work the audience.
Okay.
And then hand control off to Archibald.
Totally
Does that
fine.
make sense? I think that's the way we can read that sequence.
All right, so that is a 5 on work the audience.
And what is your audience?
Well, my audience is 3. So that's
oh man. All right.
So that goes to a 7 to 9.
Let me see what the results are for working the audience real quick.
7 to 9 means either gain a momentum or
you know what?
Take control.
I'm going to go ahead and spend 2 momentum to get the audience on my side and gain 2 momentum.
Okay.
So it's basically a wash, but that'll hand control off to Archibald.
You look good. You look good doing it. And Archibald, the 2 of you try to get Nightshade over. You don't throw him over the ropes in the course of this, but you kind of draw attention, and they're now kind of tied up, and you have the opportunity to try and challenge for the hill. I'm going to say that sequence also clicks the timer down 1. So what happens, Archibald?
Yeah, so I think it is. So I think Archibald has done that thing. He's gone down on his hands and knees so that the captain can be tumbled over him, and then I think he goes into goes into a forward roll and springs out of it to leap up the ladder, and I think tries to grasp Eleanor around the ankle and sort of pull her down.
Does that feel like power?
Yeah, I can go with power on that.
All right, let's have you roll challenging for the hill.
That's a total of 8. Let's see. Sorry, just flicking between different tabs. And yeah, I think someone sabotages my valiant climb up the hill, and I think it's going to be Hot Rod.
Okay,
great idea.
You hit, kind of yank onto Eleanor. You start to pull yourself up, and then Hot Rod is there, up in the way, but you still got control of the match, Archibald. But the timer ticks down 1 more here, and Hot Rod is in your way.
I'm going to spend momentum to take control of the match. Can I do that?
Nightshade, you are in control of the match.
I thought that Hot Rod took control on the. Was I reading the wrong?
So when you're challenging for the hill, you said you need to work with someone, choose another wrestler, become the hard holder. Is that what you're doing?
Oh no, sorry. I was going for the someone sabotages a climb, going one heat with them, and they gain control of the match.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So Hot Rod would have control of the match. Nightshade, you can spend a momentum and take control then.
I think I am. I think I'm doing that. I'm tired of getting pushed around by these guys. I'm gonna just muscle my way through, kind of shoving Nigel aside to try and just grab the ladder. Who's up on top of the ladder right now?
It's Eleanor.
Eleanor. Okay, that's right.
I think Hot Rod sabotaged, but Eleanor's still on top.
That's
Is that right?
Yeah, Eleanor's still up there.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let's knock you down from your perch there, Missy. As I just lift the ladder up and start shaking it.
Great. Eleanor holds on as tightly as she can and starts putting the heel to the face to try to get you off.
Go ahead and roll for that with power.
Yeah, I think it's power. Oh, yeah, that's a 12.
That is a 12. So you get control of the match and pick one. You become the hard holder. You gain 2 momentum, or you gain an additional heat with the hard holder.
I just pick one. Yeah. I'll pick to become the hard holder.
Okay, so Eleanor, your grasp is lost.
Yep.
And then Captain Nightshade puts the ladder down, is up on the ladder, and then how do you take advantage of the chaos now that you are the hard holder?
Yeah, I gotta use this elevated platform to try to push the gimmick, right? Like so I say, all right, people of Ann Arbor, when I first came here, I thought you were but a bunch of landlubbers, but I see that you could be a worthy crew. Pieces of 8 all round. If ye lend me your hands and your voices, cry for Captain Amos Nightshade, champion of the Gauntlet League.
So are you working the audience?
Man, I think I can't work the audience though, because I got a botch before.
True. But you can roll look. Essentially what you're doing is I'm
doing those execute my character, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and through action, maybe I'm tossing doubloons into the audience as I do this.
Let's have you roll.
I'd like to take cheap heat with the crowd here too.
Oh, sure. If you haven't taken it already, go ahead.
Yeah. All right. Rolling plus look. No! Nobody likes the look. It's a 5.
It's a 5 on a botch. You get dumped off the hill. Whoever dethroned you gains control of the match and becomes a hard holder. Creative takes the timer down by 1, and you pick one. Give 1 momentum to the new hard holder and stay in the match, or you're thrown out of the ring and eliminated. Gain +1 heat with whoever took you out.
I mean, who's taking me out here?
You choose.
Okay, I interrupted Hot Rod earlier, so maybe this is Hot Rod roaring back in, right?
Okay. Do you want to give him momentum and stay in?
No, I'll take the heat and get knocked out of the match. It's very clear. It's very clear the gimmick's not working. Time to walk the plank.
There is a strategically placed table for you as you go out of the ring. We hear that crash as you break through it. Hot Rod, you are hot dynamite now.
Yes.
What do you do as a hard holder? How are you dominating?
Oh yeah. So yeah, I've got after years of manual labor and toil, I've got vice grips for hands, and I'm just ascending up the ladder. A lot of hard boots, those hard steelworker boots to the faces of everyone hanging around me, and I got my hand in the air. I'm just like, "And Arbor, let us hear it."
Does it feel to you like that's power for your strength of doing it, or look for you demonstrating your gimmick?
Yeah, I think it's definitely, I'm definitely playing up the gimmick, because like I think I see the pirate thing not working, but I'm like, oh, these are my people. Like, let's get them up.
Let's have you roll with look.
All right, don't have the best look, but I got a 12 minus 1. That's 11.
11. So on a 10 plus, you dominate, retain control, and pick one. Gain 2 momentum. Gain a heat with the wrestler who most threatens you, or knock a challenger over the top rope, eliminating them.
Oh, interesting. I think as I'm up there, definitely. I think one of the NPCs I just boot right out. It's definitely
that's why they're there.
Yeah, definitely. I'm thinking Skunk Ape is trying to
over the top rope, goes out. Another strategically placed table, another monster out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. Awesome.
And you've still got control of the match. So what do you do next?
I think I'm feeling the roar of the crowd with me, and I think I see who's underneath me right now. I think it's the Brit. Oh yes, which one? I think Archibald is kind of starting to like make his way, and I've been studying Archibald, and I respect him, but he rubs me the wrong way. So I think I'm just going to momentarily like kind of come off the ladder as I see him reaching for me, and I'm going to kind of jump and just give him a nice two-hander to the shoulder and hit him before he can even approach me.
And that feels like power.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's see here. What? Double sixes again.
Okay.
So minus 111.
Retain control of the match. Pick one. 2 momentum, a heat with Archibald, or you pitch somebody over the top rope.
Yeah. So I think after I clobber Archibald, El Toro is charging me like a bull, and I kind of low shoulder him and flip him up over me, and he flies out and lands on the announcer's table.
Woo! And he goes out. You're still in control of the match.
All right, and then I think one or two other folks are coming at me, and a couple kicks and a few punches, and then I just start climbing back up the ladder. And just fighting off anyone reaching up for me.
One more power.
Eleanor's going to spend a momentum to interrupt and take control.
Okay, Eleanor, how do you challenge?
So I see Hot Rod kind of clamoring back up, and I take a moment so the entire crowd can hear me, and I make some kind of cheapy comment about how, like, tonight this Raven will destroy all the lowly Wolverines in the crowd, and we hear the drunk college kids, right?
Yeah.
So that's my cheapy.
Yep.
And then back to more kind of showy, less angry moves. I take Hot Rod by like. Hot Rod, you're wearing jorts, right?
Oh, jorts, and I do have they're the jorts. They're like a Carhartt, so they have like a hammer loop on them.
Oh yeah. So I get right there with one arm and like on your shoulder with the other, and just with every bit of strength, even though I have very little, I try my best just to pull you as fast as possible off this and behind me.
Yeah, awesome.
Let's have you roll, Eleanor.
All right, so my power is -2, so this is going to be a very interestingly narrative roll. I got a 3 - 2. That's a 1.
So you get dumped off.
I do.
That Hot Rod contains control, and you have to pick one of those results there.
Yeah. I am going to give one momentum to the hard holder and stay in the match.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. 3. Perfect.
It does not go like you wanted, Eleanor. The timer is down to 3. When it hits 1, that is the end there. So when we hit 2, I'll tell you what the booking is. So we have Hot Rod in control of the match.
Okay, yeah. So I think I feel like Hot Rod is enjoying the audience, like getting caught up in the shifts of power here. And I think after Eleanor's attempt fails, I feel like Nigel is Nigel still in the match?
Yes.
Nigel, I feel like Nigel has been like just cleaning up these mooks, and I feel like he's I'm kind of like, I see him in the back starting to work, like get into a froth, and I kind of turn my back to him to give him an opportunity to clobber me if he wants. So that I'm going to put over.
Okay, let's have you roll that.
Okay. So that's a 9 plus 2. That's an 11. So we both gain an audience.
Okay. Nigel, you now have control of the match.
Oh my. Well, I think I've just been kind of sitting in a corner quietly bleeding. Just because I got Eleanor onto the ladder, and that was pretty much what I wanted to do. And I managed to help mess with Captain Nightshade, so that was pleasant, and I did so without actually breaking any of the rules.
True.
What's Eleanor doing right now?
Eleanor just totally failed getting Hot Rod off, so she's probably just very casually beaten up with one of the NPCs, just kind of thinking about her next move, kind of occupying herself with a couple of the lesser competitors, but she still kind of keeps glancing at Hot Rod.
Okay. I'm just going to do a baseball slide into the ladder. I mean, nothing subtle, nothing fancy. Just a straight up baseball slide to knock the ladder over.
Okay. That seems like probably is that power or work?
I think it's power. I don't think it's work at all.
Sure.
I mean, there's nothing subtle about it. There's nothing technical about it. It's just
let's have you roll.
That is a 6. So I'm going to spend a momentum and make it a 7.
Okay.
And I've got 1 momentum left.
All right. So which someone else sabotages your violent climb, or you need to work with someone to become, and they become the hard holder. Which one do you want?
Archibald gave me a second chance. I have to stay loyal to my country. Manchester has so much to answer for, but not today.
Archibald, you are pushed up on to the ladder as the timer is ticking down. We're getting close to that last second of this. Nigel still has control of the match, though, but you're in a good position. So, Nigel, here's the thing. Eleanor is booked to win. So how do you want to help set that up? Or do you not want to help set that up?
So many possibilities between the hatred of our fan bases and Nigel's stitches that are just asking for something.
Okay. This is interesting, I think. I think that in the process of trying to do that baseball slide into the ladder, I popped some staples.
Okay.
And as a result, the ladder is kind of slippery with, try not to go into any gory details, but the ladder is a little bit more red than metal right now.
Okay.
And I think what I'm going to do is grab Hot Rod and try to suplex him into the ladder.
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
Which,
Yep.
well, and I can make it look like I'm just not paying attention to where the ladder is in terms of ring position, so it doesn't look like I'm intentionally sabotaging Archibald, because he did just give me a second chance and I did just push him up on the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to get this set up. So, and I think that suplex into the ladder is work.
Yeah, that seems fair to me. Let's have you roll that.
That is a 7. I have 1 momentum left.
Okay.
And I spend it.
Okay. So you need to work with someone, choose another wrestler to become the hard holder.
Well, gee, if I choose another wrestler to become the hard holder, I could pick anyone, like, say, Eleanor.
I'm
Do you
ready
set
to
that up?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm going to, like I told Wolf, I'm going to be good out there.
Absolutely. Archibald, are you going along with the plan?
I am going to interrupt here.
Okay.
I'd like to interrupt after, if that's.
Okay.
I think I'd like Eleanor to get up onto the ladder, but
All
then I
right.
will interrupt to challenge.
Okay.
Cool.
So Eleanor gets up on the ladder.
Yep.
Which, with this moment, we would be doing the finisher move for Eleanor, but you want to interrupt?
Yep.
Spend that momentum.
Yeah. I am going to. I'm going to call out. Dear lady, you seem to be doing quite well, but this isn't the first time I've had to give you a leg up, and I think it's going to be the last, I'm afraid. And I'm going to go and climb up the ladder behind her, sort of wrap my legs around the ladder, grab her by the waist, and go to sort of like throw her off the top of the ladder.
Is this you doing your heel move?
Oh no, this is just challenging for the hill.
Okay. Then let's have you roll it.
That's a 10.
Okay.
So I will.
Do you become the hard holder?
I do not. I'm going to gain 1 heat with the hard holder.
Okay. So what happens that doesn't quite let you take it?
I have an idea.
Go for it. Yeah.
Could you tell me how you were trying to grab Eleanor?
So the way I was thinking, I was going to try and grab her around the waist and sort of spin her out to throw her out. But I was wondering maybe if you kind of just spin back around and
or even what I was thinking was that since Eleanor has this kind of like feathered cape kind of thing that she hides stuff in, like you make contact and when you grab, it's just the cape and like. Yeah. So you kind of like tear that off the character and that goes like flourishing and floating around this arena in this like very dramatic kind of slow motion John Woo kind of moment, right? And you've kind of like literally kind of exposed a bit of Eleanor and kind of she doesn't have that same mystique, which would explain the heat, but also explain why you didn't quite get her off the thing.
And Eleanor, you get to roll your finisher to show how this goes over.
So everyone's still in the ring. Is there? I'm assuming that my finisher should be targeted at somebody. So is that correct, Lowell?
Well, with this, you can roll the finisher, and we can roll out from what you roll for it into the fiction of it. So let's have you roll, and then let's see how you want to narrate that.
Super. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll, and this is a straight roll. I have 2 momentum in case I need it.
Okay.
I don't. I got an 11.
Look at you.
So I hit my finisher clean. I think what I'd like to do, if this makes sense, is I'd like to kind of close with Hot Rod and I kind of getting back to our kind of technical kind of collaboration that we've been doing before as mentor and protege, and kind of have a move where I get to finish the match, but I get to involve Hot Rod in this kind of moment of like, we're back in it.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah. So what does that look like?
Yeah. Hot Rod, where are you? Like, how are you going to set up for this?
Yeah. So I think it'd be interesting. So again, Hot Rod is not super mobile, but I think we might have worked on something where you have like just an insane like counter to something. So what if I did get you off and we were exchanging blows and I went up to like power bomb you and you were able to like put like when I got you up in the air or something, you were able to like counter that and flip up and you get
that sounds great. Yeah.
Nice.
And like it's a slow motion kind of arc back onto the ladder. Right? Leaving you just kind of stunned and empty-handed below.
Yeah.
And Eleanor kind of stands like not quite as decorated as she was at the beginning of the night. Her nose is like bruised and kind of swollen, but she still stands there like with this moment of victorious pride as I'm assuming the arena gets very upset.
Arena goes nuts. Shots of you, shots of the stunned look on Hot Rod's face, shots of a bleeding Nigel. We get shots of our Marquis of Queensbury, like, how did this happen? And then shots of Captain Nightshade. Is Captain Nightshade, has he woken up or is he still unconscious on the table in this last shot here?
I think extras dressed as a pirate crew have come and like lifted up the table and are carrying it away.
And I like the idea that your pirate crew is like my two guys from before, but changed costume.
They put on bandanas.
Yeah, exactly.
And the camera pans around the arena, people jumping and stuff, and then we get that little thing in the corner that says copyright Gauntlet League Wrestling, 2019, and that is the end of our show for today. With Eleanor, one last shot of her up on the ladder, them bringing you the RPG belt.
She holds it high, and that purple light floods her face again, kind of masking the bruising of her nose, and to like her regal self.
And that's it, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much
for this.
Yeah, thank you, Lowell.
I had a great time. We're done with a few minutes left, so I'm very happy about that. I like the characters. Let's do a quick just call outs from everybody. What you dug about the people's stuff today. Just do some stars here. Just to wrap it up. Alexi, anything you want to point to?
I think people could tell that I was a fan of the Edgar Allan Poe theme for a wrestler. Happy to get to be in the commentator's booth for that, and really love Eleanor's whole aesthetic and look. That was really cool.
Well, thank you.
Awesome. Puckett, anything you want to point to?
Alexi was ridiculously amazing today. That was just, I don't know how you did it for that long. I mean, either you were doing Edgar Allan Poe riffs or you were a pirate. And I don't know how you did it. Amazing. And I also really liked Eleanor's character. That was awesome.
Yeah. Good stuff. Zach,
Also,
anything?
like John Cena.
Yes. Zach, anything you want to point to?
I thought everyone's characters were great. I really enjoyed how I was like the sanest character concept, and everyone was just so theatrical. It's just so wonderful to play. Like it felt like I was playing the straight man, and with a cast of like really crazy eccentric characters, and that was a lot of fun. And this is my first time playing Worldwide Wrestling, and what a fun and freewheeling system. So that was great.
It's surprisingly fun over the long term too.
I can only imagine. It definitely seems like we were setting up for the next match would be even more interesting. So yeah.
Sean, anything you want to point to?
Yeah, I mean, I'll echo the fact that like everyone's characters were so like thoughtful and kooky and fun and really fun to listen to, and so I think everyone did a really nice job kind of picking those models. I'll shout out Zach because I think the relationship between Eleanor and Hot Rod got kind of dynamically created in that first match, and I really love when that happens. And Lowell, I'll shout you out also because these matches ended terribly every time, and so the fact that you were not only able to kind of run as that but also like incorporate that into the creative character, I thought was really lovely.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a session quite like this in terms of matches just ending abruptly like that. So that is very interesting. David, I'm going to give you last word.
Again, Stars Driven, I thought it was really good fun. Some great characters, and I love the way that, I mean, as it should be, but how much of the stories were told with like the wrestling moves and stuff was really cool. That was great. I thought that was brilliant. So yeah, big stars for everyone for that. And again, my first time playing Worldwide Wrestling, so thank you for making it really cool. And again, Lowell, thanks for, I think you like ran it really well, kept things moving really nicely. It was very rare. I felt like I didn't know what I was doing, so that's always good. So thank you very much.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Well, I'm going to stop the broadcast. I will have this posted up later.